Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everybody. However you happen to be watching or listening to this, I want to welcome you to the Gaming Circle podcast, your weekly dose of tech, gaming news, and some slander. I'll pause on that for a minute. Speaking of slander, let me go ahead and before we even get started, as we do, we have a great guest. We have really interesting news topics to discuss this week. Let me go ahead and introduce my slanderous co-host. You know him as the man who's out about town doing all he can to hand off shoes to those who can't seem to know whether or not it fits them or not. The man seems
free shoes.
To be out.
Free shoes.
Free. They just cost you your own, your intellectual integrity. You just have to, broaden your horizons a bit when you're speaking to the man, Mr. Everborn Saga. How are you doing this fine Saturday morning?
I'm doing great, and I want to personally thank you for going to me first while you knew I was eating breakfast.
Oh! I apologize, good sir. I apologize. It just so happens that there is a story to be told, and I wanted to get you out of the way first because man, it's going to be interesting. So I felt I want to get
Gaming
you
Steam Deck podcast. Here we go.
Oh, it's not going to be that bad. Calm yourself, there, player.
All right.
I'll
start talking about Elden Ring if you guys go on too long.
As you should, because that game is still like literally burning every chart that exists up. For some reason, people have not gotten that monkey off their back just yet. So
I haven't played this much this week, so I'm still right in about where I was when we talked about it last week. So that's where we are for now. I've been busy being an electrician all week.
Oh wow! Okay,
yeah,
that's interesting. So how's the jacuzzi installation situation going?
The jacuzzi isn't here yet, but I needed to. So you can get a lot of spas in either. Sorry, the gaming electrical codes podcast.
The gaming home improvement podcast is now on full effect.
But you can get them in 110 or 220 volt, which means they're going to plug into a standard plug or a like the kind of thing you plug your dryer or your electric stove into. But you want to do 220 because it heats up faster and you get more power from the motors. So I had to run, because I wasn't going to pay an electrician, I had to run a 220 line from the side of my house in the front all the way to the back up to the deck where the thing is. And I promise this won't take long. And the funny thing here is I go to the electrical supply store and they're like avid Trump supporters. And they're like, see, the prices have quadrupled because of your president. I'm like, you don't even know who I've never met. How do you know who I voted for?
Seriously?
Yeah.
They saw a black man walking and they go, you are the reason. That's great.
No. But listen. When they rang up what I had to pay for 6-gauge wire, I was like, I'm voting Republican next time.
That's great.
Crazy. 100 feet, $600 of 6-gauge
So pro
wire.
tip, if I need electrical work done, I need to call Everborn Saga because I too have been dealing with electricians and I want to kill somebody. But that's neither here nor there.
Listen, man, it's a YouTube video away.
Yeah, now, that's true. That is
now,
true.
When you hear Everborn has been electrocuted in his own
yeah.
You might see him next time without some hair, right?
Yeah.
Let us not belabor the point anymore. Let us introduce our wonderful, wonderful guest. You have seen him on our program before, and he has made a great impression on the gaming community at large. You see him on his YouTube channel interviewing very interesting people. Less so me because he interviewed me too, but I appreciate that. Mr. John Wolfe joins us today. Welcome, good sir. How you doing on this Saturday morning?
Good morning, Kay. Doing well. Everborn. Last time I was on the show, I think you were abroad proposing, brother. So congratulations on that.
Thank you. I also owe you an interview, sir.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, brother. We'll set it up whenever you're available, man. But Kay, doing good. Woke up on Saturday. Super excited to be on the show. Talk about these hot topics you got here, man, and just give my takes, man. So let's get right to it.
Indeed. So you know what? We will start, and of course, I see all the returning favorites in the chat. I see Mr. Joanna Dark. Shout out to Gerald Mack, the man. I see Black. Is that Black Arcade? Blackcade? Like, get that name for me. What is that?
I think it's let's see. It's Black Card. Black Card. I think. There you go.
I've seen him in here before. Welcome, good sir. I hope you're doing well. Yes. Thank you guys so much for pulling up. So let us at least get started with the games we've been playing, and we'll start the news because there's a lot to discuss this week, and I want to kind of get as much of it in as I possibly can. As you can see, I am. This is basically God of War, and I've actually, believe it or not, this is Steam Deck footage. I plugged it into my Steam Deck, and I've been pulling footage from it. Yeah, it runs and looks great. It's absolutely awesome.
Hey, shout out to Bam Bam in the chat.
I see him. Yes,
he's a gamer's gamer.
Bam Bam V3, welcome, sir. Welcome. So since 2 of the 3 folks on the show have touched a Steam Deck.
Touched is a key word.
You see how I did that? You see what I did there? And you'll understand soon, Mr. Everborn Saga.
No,
I will go to you first, Mr. John Wolf.
Cancel it.
No, hold up. I will go to you first, Mr. John Wolf. And I like initially when I knew John was going to be on the show, I was like, yo, this is going to be great. We're going to talk about Steam Deck. I love mine, and he's going to have his, and we're going to make Everborn feel it. And then I asked John about his Steam Deck, and John said this.
All right. I need to preface this by saying that this is a me problem and it's a first world problem, okay? Those 2 things, all right?
And you know what? You know what, John? It's actually serendipitous that was your problem, because that makes you perfect for the discussions we're about to have on this show today. But continue, good sir.
All right. So I get the Steam Deck installed, updated, all that good stuff. Dude, it's a wonderful device. Whoever has it, whoever's looking to get it, whoever has it pre-ordered, Everborn, you should keep that. You should keep that pre-order, okay? But for me personally, this is my story. So I get the Steam Deck, I install, a few games on it. I don't have a huge Steam library, probably like 30-something games. So I installed DMC on it, okay? Devil May Cry, the reboot that they did. I love that game. So I start playing it, sitting on my couch. I'm like, oh man, this is awesome, dude. This is, I'm going to be able to play so many games on the go and all that stuff. And then the realization kicked in. Okay. And it hit me as soon as achievements started popping. Okay. And I'm like, all right, achievement popped here. Let me take a look. What am I doing here? Okay, cool. Dude, I didn't feel one-on-one with that Steam interface. I didn't feel connected, okay, like I do, because, brother, I've been invested into the Xbox ecosystem for too long now, okay? I talked to you about this on my show. Since the OG Xbox, I had a modded one, so I was getting third-party titles like crazy. Every game that would come out, I was getting it and I was playing it. So I quickly learned that my PlayStation was my first party box and the Xbox was my third party box. Okay. Never got really big into PC gaming. All right. So once that realization hit, brother,
you sound like a man after my own heart.
see brother, where this is going,
brother.
Shut up, very similar story.
So the thing is, so the thing is that then I installed xCloud. Pain in the ass, dude. And I'm sorry for no,
that's a PG-13 like that. Okay, yeah, PG-13 movies say ass all the time. Go ahead, continue. Right, we'll allow it.
Pain in the ass, brother.
Titanic showed full frontal nudity, so
true.
and dude, the thing is that as soon as I saw what a pain it was, and that Windows was having so many problems, because initially I'm like, all right, this is gonna be my Game Pass portable machine, right? Mm-hmm. But brother, we have already been, for people looking for that, we've already been kind of spoiled by xCloud. We could just pick up our phone and play. You know what I'm saying? So that the turning point was when I started looking at these prices online. And Kay, I told you on the green room, within 2 or 3 minutes, I posted it for $1,300, and it sold within 2 to 3 minutes. I couldn't even believe it. At first, I was like, "Oh man, is this a real buy?"
So you pre-ordered now?
$1,300, dude. I sold it. So when I saw that, it was a no-brainer. I'm like, look, I'm not. my heart's not in it. Let someone. I don't want to call them a sucker. Okay, let someone that really wants this pay the $1,300 and enjoy it for what you will. I'll pick one up again, Kay. When they become easily accessible. And
when all the beta boy stuff, shout out to IOP, when all the beta boy stuff is ironed out.
There you go. When you tell me, hey, John Wolf, look, you can install Windows easily, everything's working to a flaw, you can keep on playing your Gears, your Game Pass stuff on it, and it's super easy, I'll be interested.
So there you go, Everborn. What do you think of that stuff?
He's a smart man. That's what he sounds like.
So basically, I see that meme where those two fish are going. Obviously, you're a man of culture. And
yes.
But yes, I completely feel you on that, John. So just so you know, yes.
I just want to listen.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Let's just point out all the gems.
Uh-huh.
The man said PlayStation's the exclusive box, Xbox third-party box, plus their exclusives.
That's right.
PC gaming is trash.
Oh, he didn't say PC gaming is trash.
Okay, continue. So you could unload it off onto some sucker. All these things. These are all great.
Yo, pro tip: you don't let Everborn Saga represent you because damn.
But Everborn, here's the key: you got to do it all with a smile and positive and positivity, brother.
Positivity.
That's true. I learned that from Phil Spencer.
there you go.
Okay,
brother.
what I'll tell you is this. Okay, I said this to John already.
It is unfortunate. Will smile at you and then buy the land
and then stab you and buy you. That's right. Yes. And then he'll do you like Batman. Oh, I bought that bank.
Exactly.
Listen, look, I completely understand why you feel the way you do, John. It is not ready for prime time for people who just want to pick up and play, and that's it. Especially if you want to pick up and play and make it like your secondary Xbox, it requires some work to get there, right? And I'm sure by the time you got it, because if I'm not mistaken, you got yours before I got mine. At least 2-3 weeks before I got mine.
Super early. I think I got it week 2 or 3.
That's right. So thinking about where you were when you got that thing was way not ready for anything but SteamOS. I will tell you now, since I've gotten mine, and there's been updates a day. Every day there's a new update. xCloud, much better experience on the Steam Deck. Also, maybe you saw it online. I posted a few shots. I installed Windows 10 on it, put the tablet UI on it, got a SD card that can both read Linux and Windows. So like I'm at a place now where it is a Microsoft Xbox portable, right? You can play all the native games on it. You can install Game Pass games on it natively. What you wanted to do can be done now, but yes, it required a lot of work in the beginning, and as it goes along, it requires less and less work. So you're right on the money.
Hey, John, just wait.
You'll just be able to pick it up, and then it'll just be your Game Pass box.
John,
after they've sorted out all the
you know what it'll be your Game Pass box.
When's that?
In a couple of years from now, when Microsoft buys Valve.
Oh, all right. There you go.
It'll literally be the Game Pass box.
Yeah, we'll see that. But for now, I said this to John. I honestly think. Oh, what kind of battery does it use? It's lithium ion.
That's another thing. And Kay, we gotta be real with the people. The battery life is not that great. Okay, from what I experienced.
Well, let me give you that. Depending on what you're doing, I will say that the battery life, though, the battery life works best for tweakers than it does for those who just want to pick up and play. If you want to pick up and play, you turn. Let me say. Well, if you want to pick up and play, you turn everything too high because it's a PC game, right? And then you hit play. It will play great for like 70 minutes, 80 minutes, 70, 60 minutes if you're lucky, depending on how what do you call it? God of War footage right here you're playing.
Right.
I played this while plugged in, right? Because if you want all the bells and whistles and it's supposed to be beautiful and really crisp and all that, you're paying for it by, using more resources.
Right.
But just like Digital Foundry, like for a long time now, you've seen Alex Battaglia and the rest of them give you their optimized build of a game, right? Oh, you can tweak this here, you can tweak that there, because not everything that uses resources represents visually on your screen. And what people don't seem to understand is what you will see on a 4K screen or a monitor that I'm looking at right now is not exactly the same as what you will see on a 7-inch 1200 by 1080 by 800 screen, right? So maybe fog looks beautiful on the big screen, but you don't need to turn the fog to high on that teeny tiny screen because it doesn't show much. That will be the difference between like 30 minutes of battery life.
I'll tell you the one thing I did learn about the Steam Deck. It taught me. Now I know why Nintendo only runs games at 30 frames per second. Now I know why. Because if not, the Switch, dude, the battery life would be wasted in like an hour.
Well, okay, so the I hear you, but let me give you just a little bit. the reason the Switch, the reason why people give the Switch so much smoke, it is literally like an Android phone from 5 years ago. That's what the Switch is. Literally, piece for piece, Android phone from 5 years ago, right? What the Steam Deck is 80% of a Series S in a handheld format, right? Which is actual PC parts, not a phone processor, not a laptop processor, but like an actual full-fledged can do ray tracing. Did we know this? No, people didn't know this. It can do ray tracing. Now, Steam has not implemented that into their APIs, so you have to run it on the Windows side first before you can see that stuff. But it can do ray tracing. It has the cores, just like the Series S, to do the ray tracing and all of that stuff too, right? So that's the difference here. Like it looks the same like the Switch, so people give it the same kind of comparison, but it is the Switch is a phone made to be a handheld, and this is made as a full-fledged, I can run this show off of a Steam Deck, full-fledged PC that just happens to be in your hand. Gotcha. But no, I completely agree with you that if you just want to be, if you're and that's why you are apt for this discussion. We're going to be talking about console gaming for the rest of 2022. If you are a sole console gamer, that's where you love to be, that's what you like, today Steam Deck might not be for you, right? Might not be for you, and that's okay, right? And as all of us tweakers start tweaking it out and this and that, you know, at the end of the day, when at some point it will be worked out, because like every day there's new updates happening. At some point it will be turnkey, and when that happens, hey, that'll be great. I'm actually waiting for the DIY company that'll come out and release an extra battery pack for right here, because literally, like Steam did, Valve did that. They released the CAD files for everything. There will literally be some company that'll like put a battery right here, and you can just plug it in, right? That's why I love this device. It is the Swiss Army knife of tech tools for now, you know, and eventually, because of that, people will play and tweak and play and tweak and play and tweak, and eventually it'll be ready for prime time for yourself and for Mr. Boomstick, who's also like, maybe not today, right?
Not today. I'm not. Exactly, it's not there. It's not there for what I want.
Exactly. Yes. If you want a secondary console, nope, that's not for you today. If you want a retro handheld, if you want a Dreamcast on the go, a PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4 Switch, it is that. But like a full-fledged next gen, ready to play Cyberpunk for 5 hours, nah, you ain't there yet. So I appreciate that. But no, that's an interesting story. I wonder like who got your Switch, your Steam Deck?
I don't know, but
that's a high price to pay, bro.
Brother, they paid for it, so I hope they're enjoying it.
See, it makes me go, I played this, you know, I played this for a while. Maybe I can.
John Wolfe said, I hope they're enjoying the Steam Deck, because I'm enjoying their money.
I'm enjoying the cash, you know what I'm saying?
I'd rather have that money earning a little bit of interest right now with the way things are.
So yes, shout out to all the new folks that are joining us as well. I see Tate Talks in here, good member of the show, friend of the show, joining us. Thank you, sir, for pulling up. Pixelbit G, always in here. Great. I see Umbra in here. What's going on, brother man? How you doing? So yeah, we anything else you've been playing, John? Any besides your Steam Deck woes? Anything that maybe folks aren't aware of that's been keeping you busy of the week, or should we just jump into the news?
No, I'll just quickly go over what I've been playing. Right now, I've been streaming on my channel the X-Men Wolverine Origins game from the 360. Yeah, man, got in a lot of good results from that on the channel. Picked up a lot of subs. Just recently passed 360 subscribers, so that's exciting, brother. And the 360 symbolizes something for me, because it's actually the console, the Xbox 360, that actually got me to learn about the gaming industry, that there's actually faces behind these companies and stuff like that. So it was pretty symbolic for myself. And other than that, man, just playing a little bit of Halo Infinite, and that's about it.
Hey, what the 360 did for you in gaming, this is completely unrelated, but when you said that, it made me think. That's what The Matrix did for me in films.
Ooh,
that is a part, like, obviously everybody knows who Spielberg was, but The Matrix and The Matrix Reloaded were the first thing that made me pay attention to editing and writing and who's the director and what's the story behind production and things like that. And it had me paying attention to just the industry of filmmaking. So it's always good when there's that catalyst, and everybody has that catalyst, and I think it's pretty dope that it was the
360.
Yeah,
because when the 360 launched, dude, it was so much hype behind it and all this stuff, and I quickly learned. I'm like, wait a minute, what's the Major Nelson podcast? What's that about? Who's this guy? Why is he? Does he work for Microsoft? Does he work for Xbox? Why is he talking about Xbox? He's not supposed to be doing that. So it's one of those things that that it just opened my eyes to the industry and the people behind it, and been hooked ever since, dude. Looking at insider stuff and all that, man. Since the 360 was really the console that solidified that for me.
And shout out to A. Rodimus. We'll catch you on the rerun.
Oh yeah, yes sir. Welcome. And real quick, you were talking about Miss Major Nelson and his show and why he's doing and how he could do what he do. Isn't it amazing from going from back then? Because I think I'm a similar trajectory to you as far as our experiences with Xbox. Isn't it amazing that he was the definitive Xbox voice? Oh my God, you have to listen to his podcast. To now, he's not even the best Xbox podcast out there.
Yeah,
he doesn't even get the most views out there. And he had
Major Nelson under the bus day.
No. But hear me clearly. It's not a slight on Major Nelson. It's basically the thoughts on the what do you call it, the community and how it's grown beyond even what the corporate company who wants there to be community has said. Dealers out here and all these other folks out here, and they're taking away from Major Nelson.
And I gotta also give a major shout out to Gamertag Radio because I used to listen to them back in the day.
100%.
Like them and Major Nelson were the 1-2 combo, and then you also had OneUp.com, and these are yours. Yep. These are really the catalyst to start smart conversations, what I like to call smart conversations, that it's like, hey, let's go a little bit deeper into this, that it's not just a sales pitch. It's more like, hey, let's have a conversation about these games. So shout out to all their shows, man.
You know what, you're absolutely right. And for a long time when they were going, I even there was no talk of console warring. They were just the definitive source. You went there, you got interesting conversation, details, this and that, and you left it feeling really good about where the market was. You know what I mean?
Everybody had their preferences, of course.
Glasses, but yes.
Back in those days, that's how it was, because there was no infighting and this YouTube channel, that YouTube channel, this podcast, that podcast. It was just the definitive sources, right? And like somebody like Danny Pena was one of the few from the outside that just kind of got in there. But besides that, it was Microsoft's podcast, Major Nelson's podcast, right? So there was no who infighting and who did this, and it was just real cool. It was a simpler time, like the 80s and 90s.
That's a good word. It was a simpler time, and honestly, you would go there just to be entertained, just to talk about things, and that's the key. All right, that's the key, and that's the type of podcast that I've grown to love, and something I'm trying to do myself.
Yep.
Let's have conversations, no matter if they're hard, if they're difficult to have. Yep. Let's engage. We don't need to see eye to eye on things, but let's at least talk about it.
We can all kind of have a good time having our opinions heard without necessarily hating on everybody. And speaking of the simpler time stuff, forgive me, I watched The Last Dragon for the billionth time last night, so I'm still rose-colored glasses.
Boy, the
Catching bullets with his
old
teeth.
Man screams at cloud podcast.
Screams at cloud.
Reminiscing of yesteryear.
Indeed. But you know what? All right. Let us transition because as you guys come here, we see the chat getting full, the conversation's getting lively. Let us transition to our, I'll call it, on the real minute, if you will.
And there's no cap in the chat yet because Slow-Mo hasn't joined. So
no, he hasn't joined yet. But we're calling this the On the Real Minute because this is a segment that I'm going to keep poking Mr. Everborn Saga with till eventually we get on the real back. And I kind of want to talk about the season that has been the first, the Halo TV
roller
show.
coaster ride.
Indeed. Now, Mr. John Wolf has informed me that he's seen everything up to the very end episode. So he hasn't seen the finale yet, but he's okay.
Seen that terrible CGI.
Stop it.
Okay.
Stop it.
It can be worse than She-Hulk, right? Can be worse.
Oh,
yes,
She-Hulk.
man. Yes, it can.
Oh,
it absolutely can be worse than that.
It can.
Wow.
But before we get there, can we spit a little bit of bars on the fact, and John, I'll let you have this first, on the missed opportunity that is these suits on your screen right now joining Halo Infinite. Now, Everborn has given me the idea of, yeah, it would have been great, but it's not necessary. I think it's a horribly missed opportunity.
Dude,
what do you think, John?
They completely dropped the ball with this whole campaign. Okay, if it was me that I was in charge of trying to push, the Halo IP to people, and we had a show coming out and all that, you best believe I would have been doing cross promotional the whole time. I correct me if I'm wrong. I haven't even seen an ad for this Halo show when you pop on Halo Infinite. Is that correct, or am I wrong on that?
Hold on a minute.
So, let me answer his question real quick.
Can you imagine the backlash of showing an ad in a game?
Yeah, brother. But here's the thing. Let me answer your question. The only time you've seen cross-pollination is two ways. One, in the Halo Infinite multiplayer season 2, they have little keychains on their guns that are the relic from the show, which is too little too late, in my opinion. That's one. And two, at the end of the finale, the very end, what do? They show you a commercial for season 2 of Lone Wolves for Halo Infinite.
Wow.
And I'm like, come on, guys. It's that's all you got?
Listen. I'm huge on these companies being proud of their work. Okay. Even if it falls short, if you show confidence and you show that you're trying to promote these things, it'll catch on, man. It really will, because people will see that confidence and they'll get hyped. Look, we are products of buying into hype. Sorry, I do it all the time. Okay.
Oh yeah, 100%.
There
are websites dedicated to hype.
Elden Ring, that was bought by me on pure hype, and I like to keep it real. Okay, I had no interest in buying Elden Ring when the hype train started. I'm like, I'm gonna jump on the bandwagon because I want to try this out. That's
I got caught up like that. I bought it because of the 97.
Yeah. So
but ultimately you were right, Everborn? You now are on the other side of that looking glass.
No, it's
right?
true. I'm just saying that 97 is why I
got you in
Elden Ring instead of Horizon.
That's right.
On Elden Ring since.
So that hype. So basically that hype works.
Sometimes it works for our favor, sometimes it doesn't. Now, I think going back, it's a completely missed opportunity by 343, okay? Because they should have piggybacked the excitement that was coming with the show, okay? Because that first episode brought it, man. That was fire, especially every single action scene that I have seen that it's the Spartans in action, they have brought it. Now, everything else is debatable, the storyline, why the dude doesn't keep his damn helmet on, all that stuff.
Don't have a problem with that.
I mean, all that stuff is debatable, but at the end of the day, they are giving good representation to what the Spartans are in this army. So I
just think putting the suit, Vanek suit and Kai suit in Halo Infinite, don't even give them voices. That's low-hanging fruit.
Dude, it's a
that would have got me to buy the seriously. Had that been in season 2, I would have bought the game. I 100% would have bought the battle pass. I would have done it. But I have not done so.
It's just a miss on my in my opinion. And if I was 343's marketing department, I would be ashamed, because that's just
give him some emblems on his back, Master Cheeks. What? Shout out to Bam Bam.
I don't know, dude. I think that they should have done a better job, in my opinion.
I agree. I hope season 2 is better. Go ahead, everyone. I know you have your thoughts.
If I was the marketing department, I would be ashamed about a lot of things before we get to the show, like doing deals with Taco Bell when the game got delayed a year and being printed on a box, and then being in season 2 with most people being unhappy with the output of maps and content in these things. Those are things to feel ashamed about. And I like, if they can't get that in order, I don't want to add this timing with the show. The show has issues that they need to work out, and so does the service part of the game, because the campaign is, in my opinion, flawless. But the multiplayer, a lot of people have issues, and there's no co-op, there's no forge, there's no a lot of these things. So let them figure that out before they start becoming a well-oiled machine and timing content. I don't want them working out the logistics of connecting the game to the show to be a hindrance on any of them, because they both seem to need all the help they can get. And this is coming from a fan who has never really down talked the show or the game. I like both of them, but like as a general rule, do not let the transmedia sisters, hinder or slow down the development or creativity of their siblings, right? So, Spider-Man or Miles Morales are not tied in. Yes, they added suits later on. They did that later on.
Yeah, but still, that's what they needed to do, and they did it.
I understand.
Every
that.
time a new Spider-Man comes out, you get a new suit.
Happened in the third Spider-Man movie or whatever it was. So because you saw the suit like from the game, they kind of worked that in as a callback.
No, but I guess what I'm saying is the original Spider-Man on PS5 gets new suits as new Spider-Man come out.
I understand that, but they still first had to come out and be that game first. Once you're out there and you can stand on your own as a product, then you can do that add-on stuff. But if you're worried about this add-on stuff now, when you have sort of gaping holes in what people are looking for.
So if I understand what everyone is saying correctly is we can want what we want, but 343, both the game development side of the house and the TV show production side of the house aren't equipped to provide that because they can't even get the level floor of having a good product.
Exactly.
Not a good look.
Do that first before you worry about this.
I agree with you on that.
Not a good look in my opinion, because again, it goes back to the confidence, right? It goes back to this is your IP. All right. It's not like you're working. It's not like Sony and Marvel are working together on these things. I know that Paramount is to a certain extent because they're the one providing the platform, but 343 is the one that's leading this thing. So 343 should know better, and they should say, hey, we really want to push this story. We really want to push these new characters that we're introducing.
343 should have known better than to put more maps in the multiplayer. There's a lot of stuff 343 should have known better.
Yeah, but
and still, here comes the slander. Welcome, Mr. Slow-Mo Backslap. He's in the spot.
Shout out to Slow-Mo. But
this is one of the rare
was waiting for you.
When me and Slow-Mo agree. And like I said, Spider-Man can do it because they put out a complete product. They were ready to go, and these are add-ons. Until Halo 100%. Gets its sea legs, then I want to see that. And hopefully by the time season 2 comes out, they'll both be well-oiled machines.
You know what, everyone? I think you're right, but I think we're right as well. So both can be true. We want what we want, and they should have done it. But you're right that they're ill-equipped to do so.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong, Everborn, in what you're saying. The thing is that where I'm coming from with this is why not? Why don't you guys have your shit together? You know what I'm saying?
Why don't they have old maps?
And you know what? We will get into that because that'll be part of our main conversation of gaming in 2020. So let us just for those who are watching, and don't worry if you haven't seen the very last episode. I would say hopefully you've watched everything up until now. If you haven't seen the last episode, we're gonna keep it light. We're not gonna go details and plot for plot, but we'll give you our overarching impressions. I will let you go first, Mr. Everborn Saga. What did you like? What did you dislike? Where does this show at the end of season 1? Where does it leave you?
I think the show is serviceable action sci-fi. I think there's a lot of good going on, but I do think
damn.
I do think
I'll just let that one sit.
I do think that the show needs it needs a new showrunner, and it has that. They have new writers coming on, so that's good. I do think there's a foundation there for them to build from, and there's a lot of what seems like rookie mistakes, and it makes me wonder is it possible that 343 were too involved, and they should have kind of given this to some creators that could have put together a more solid project. And again, I like this show, right? And episode 8 was my favorite episode of the whole series, apart from the weird love scene, which wasn't earned. And a lot of it.
But real quick, by the way, just so you know, a little bit of color to your point here. The reason why it took so long to get the show made is that Microsoft wanted too much control, and eventually they had to get to a place where Hollywood gets the control, but Microsoft feels like they're in the room to have those conversations. So the idea that it's all 343 may not be actually the case. They wanted it to be all 343, their product in Hollywood. And because of that, it was denied over and over and over and over again. So
yeah,
I
they got laughed out of Hollywood. Like Nintendo laughed them out of trying to buy this.
Exactly. So I think what you're seeing here is Paramount and 343 to a large extent Microsoft. It's like a relationship, but I honestly do think that Hollywood still holds the reins on this a bit. And Kiki Wolf Kill's literally there to go, hey, add the Halo sound. Okay, hey, add the Shield sound. Like they're playing what they're doing, and she's adding Halo-ness into it, which
I think is fine. I just think that the production crew that they gave this to, I don't know if it's based on the budget, but as I understand,
they didn't thread that needle carefully enough. I don't think. Yeah,
but
you're right on that.
Some of the CG, and especially in the season finale, like the graphics, the in-game graphics in the real-time cutscenes of Halo Infinite look better than the CG.
True,
like
so true.
The motion capture was just like non-existent. You could tell they didn't do mocap for what they did. So
like this scene right here, from a graphic standpoint, this scene right here that you're seeing looks better than the last episode of Halo Infinite.
1,000%.
The Halo TV show.
1,000%.
That's not to say that last show is not worth watching or it's not riveting or it wasn't cool. It was very cool. I enjoyed it wholeheartedly. But as from a budgetary perspective, and can you imagine that's Miranda Keyes and that's Captain Keyes right there? Amazing. Anyway.
No. You are Captain Keyes, sir.
From a production perspective, this did the job way better than what you'll see in the last episode. Although I still think that the end of it all, the end where it leaves you, you're satisfied. If you liked this show, this will leave you satisfied and excited for what's to come. And hopefully they do better with the budgets, and they obviously clearly they know that there's things to be changed because they've changed the showrunner, they've changed a bunch of things. So it leaves me with promise.
I do want to address one thing. Like I'm giving my critiques here, but I did like the show, and I do not agree with the premise that this is bad fan fiction, right? Like I think that they were close enough to the lore, and the changes they made, I think, were
bearded Halo fan. Damn. Bearded of all things.
I think the changes they made to the lore were not detrimental to the story.
It's a nice Everborn. Would you look? I think that we've read so much comics and so many comics and stuff that we're kind of used to the what if scenarios, right? We're used to these parallel universes, and I think they did a fantastic
they
job.
Came out and called this the Silver Universe, right?
Yeah.
So again, when we watch Sonic and we're all happy with Sonic, that basically has nothing to do with the lore we know, right? But they told a good story and they had enough callbacks to the games that people call it a great adaptation.
And did they keep the characters
true to who they are?
Exactly.
Yes. And that's what you have to ask for, right? This whole one-to-one thing that people need, I just don't agree with that. I'm sorry, right?
I do agree with Lucius Augustus here, though. They called the city on Reach City rather than using any of the many awesome city names that were actually in the lore. Like that is.
But again, I thought
that was low hanging fruit. Come on now, they could have done better on that one. I'm sorry. Yes,
sure,
I agree with you on that.
They could have.
That is a book reader nitpick, and I'm there with you.
Can we all agree on this? Because I think even the people in the comments will agree on this. They got more than don't mess with Sonic, guys. More than anything, okay? They got the Spartan combat right. When the Spartans are on the battlefield, they
were moving like Power Rangers, though. We gotta get
dude. But
their knees don't bend right. Their knees kind of a little weird and floaty.
Hey man, that's the Power Rangers to Zeta Power Rangers or whatever. Okay, but the thing is that those battle scenes, dude, they got me hyped. I remember as soon as the first episode came around, I wasn't expecting much. I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I wasn't super hyped or anything, right? But as soon as those action scenes started and I saw how gory it was, and I'm like, wait a minute, okay, this is going in a direction that I didn't expect. And then I was pleasantly surprised with the action scenes, and then the backlash started, right? With the whole, this dude is never wearing his helmet. What's going on? Master Chief doesn't like wearing his helmet and all that.
Yes, because Master Chief wears his helmet on the toilet and in the shower.
when he needs to take a sandwich, he just lifts it up a little bit.
It's a ridiculous complaint. I'm sorry. I'm not giving any credence to that shit. The Spartans are not.
I agree with you.
Mandalorians. If you're going to tell a story that follows John or Master Chief, whatever you want to call him, unless the only scenes take place in the battlefield, which is what the games are, of course, outside of the battlefield, he's going to take his helmet off.
For the critiques that they're getting, I'll give them credit with this. They stuck to it. They said, the viewers are going to get used to this dude not wearing his helmet. And they stuck to their guns.
Yes, true. And you know what? At the end of the season, I was okay with it. Like, I think they did. I think they went too far.
Being babies. Slow-mo.
Well, stop. I think they went too far in the they'll get used to it direction too quickly. I think maybe some fanfare should have been made, but neither here nor there. At the end of the day, like for me personally, like my favorite arc was Kai's. Like this, what you see on this, that was my from the beginning. Because Master Chief is what you're there to see, and and he takes off the pellet and all of this stuff. She was at the end of this season. I was like, where the heck is my Kai suit?
Well,
she's badass chick out there taking names.
One more thing. Helmet, armor, same thing. Show me a scene where he needed his armor and he logically should have had it in the context of what was going on.
That makes sense.
Didn't have it on.
I agree with that.
Well, because basically the producers decided that the fans of the games only see him when he's in combat. So we should show him when he's out of combat. And when he's out of combat, he doesn't need his weapon equipped. He doesn't need his helmet on. He doesn't need his armor on.
It reminds me.
Makes sense.
This right here, this conversation reminds me of some conversations we used to have in the comic shop between the boys. It's like, all right, when Batman and Catwoman are about to do their thing, does she tell him you got to keep the mask on? You know what I'm saying? So it's one of those things. You can take everything off, but not the mask.
Right here with the touche. He says he also always takes his helmet off right before danger. Kai got hit in the head multiple times because she took off her helmet.
Well, that's a
touche,
lesson.
Good sir. Touche.
Play stupid games, get stupid prizes. She took it off. She got hit in the head.
That's right. But no, okay. We won't make this too long. But I kind of wanted to touch on this episode because we have been throughout the course of the season. We've been giving y'all our opinions on it. I still think
let me add one last point, and I apologize.
Please go ahead, Evan. You get the last word. Go for it.
I think that they did listen to the people like Slow-Mo, unfortunately. And if you look at the way the show ends, it seems like you're going to get more of a robot chief, which is what you people want.
Yep.
Which is someone who doesn't talk and doesn't say
of that
anything,
robot
just
chief,
hand
real
me a
quick,
weapon,
Everborn.
And then there will be no plot, just action.
Hold on.
And then
Everborn.
people will say, "Yes, I got my explosions."
Don't you
Chief
think?
Just says, "Give me a gun."
Hold on. Don't you think that whole robot chief, that robot chief part was trying to be an allegory for now you are the gamer inside the chief? Because it's kind of like that's where it went. It all of a sudden gave you control of the chief. You didn't talk anymore. All he did was point and shoot. It was almost kind of like, hey, and remember, and this is the small spoiler for the last episode. There are lots of first person. We're playing the game in the game shots.
They had
in
that
this
in the
episode.
first episode as well.
Lot more in this episode.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yes, and he is not as chatty. We'll just say that he's not as chatty, right? He becomes the chief you know and love, the quiet protagonist. This episode.
With everything you guys have told me, this is what I'll tell everyone. Why not both? Why not both? Why not a little bit of both? If it has to be something unique and new to appease different types of audience members.
Season 2's coming. We shall see. It looks like they've taken some lessons to heart. Maybe he comes back and keeps his helmet on all season for season 2. Who knows?
That's it.
And shout out to Gaming Forte for being in the spot as well.
That's it, man. 12 episodes straight. There's a bunch of battles going on. We don't know why.
Just a bunch of just murking fools left and right.
Just saying, give me a gun. Give me a gun.
All right. Let's move on.
But we're at lunch, Master Chief. I need a weapon. They give him his lunch tray. He shoots it. Boom, boom, boom.
He's eating the sandwich. Lifts up a little bit. And he's just like,
just a little bit. Bite. Sandwich in and puts it back down. Nobody can see my face.
I do look for look. This is the last thing I'll say. I promise we can move on. For those people that do criticize it. Look, I'm not going to lie to you. It does look like if this actor and his agent did work out a deal like saying, hey, I need to be on the forefront and people need to see my face a lot.
Yeah. Okay? I think after the Mandalorian thing, he went, nah, bro, I'm not getting that on episode 9. I need that on episode 1. Otherwise, I'm not doing it. I think that may have been some logistical conversations that, hey, it is what it is. And I will say at the end of all of the seasons and seeing what we've seen, I like what I saw. It's not the main Halo canon. That's fine. They can get away with being a bit, off the beaten path. I'm there for it.
It's a good start.
And we even have Rand Althor 19 in the spot.
Shout out
Welcome,
to Rand.
good sir. And I too, Mr. Rand Althor 19, I too want to learn what Mr. Everborn Saga was smoking yesterday. I know you guys were talking about that. We will discuss further today. Because whatever he's smoking, we need some of that because it's quite pungent, I suspect. But
I had that epiphany at like midnight in cold Rand and talked his ear off till like 1 a.m.
in a damn cold sweat. What if this was all on purpose? But let us move on. Y'all will get what we're talking about. And if you haven't gotten what we're talking about, please watch the Xbox 2 yesterday. They broke it down. They had a great
there was a lot
segment
of,
there.
I will say there was a lot of gear slander on that show.
Yeah. But you know what? Let us start with the news.
I also want to add, if we were discussing, if we were all characters in the Stormlight archive, I think Slow-Mo would be Adolin.
Why are you clowning him already? You're already clowning. That is inappropriate. But we shall move quickly along, shall we?
On, man.
Yes. So yes, thank you guys again for being in the chat. The chat is lively. We will move along, but I will ask you to please hit the like button if you haven't done so. Please subscribe if you haven't done so. We are doing quite well, and we're hopefully moving towards that 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Let us move swiftly along. I wanted to have a quick conversation about this. We won't spend too much time here, but I wanted to talk about this because it kind of came out of nowhere, and I find myself interested for some reason. But let's talk about this real quick. MultiVersus. Now, I know some folks in the chat have already been talking about it. People have been playing it. It is a free-to-play game where all of the WB properties get smashed together. I don't know about all, but most.
Did you use the word smash as a
yes. You see what I did there. You see what I did there. Yes. It is basically a Smash clone. What are you going to do? It is what it is. But it's got Ed Boon behind it. So it kind of made me go, hey, if Ed's in the spot, maybe it's worth checking it out. Now, has this released yet? I heard some people already playing it. So I suppose
I think
there's a
closed it might be a beta already. Oh, okay.
So not everybody got in.
So not everybody got in. I will rely on the chat, and I will ask if anybody has played this or anything like that. Please share your thoughts. We want to hear it. But I saw the videos for this, and I saw people talking about it. Yeah, you can clown it from jump when you first see it, but I thought it was pretty interesting. It's got Ed Boon behind it. I hope this is not what Ed has been talking about working on for all these years. People have been super excited about his next project that's not Injustice or Mortal Kombat. Hopefully, this is not it, because I was hoping for bigger and better. But hey, you never know. This might be great. When I saw Shaggy, I thought that was a bit of a.
This looks. I didn't sign up for the beta because I'll just wait till it's out.
Yeah, I'll wait till it's out.
But this, to me, the idea looked good. It looked fun.
Yes,
right.
And if you think about it, right, I think that the WB properties, more than any other property that I can think of, even more than the PlayStation IPs, it lends itself well to this type of Smash universe, if you really think about it, because they do have all the characters from all the different cartoon universes that can be smashed up, since we keep on using that word. And dude, it's a no-brainer for them to do this, to piggyback on the success of Smash Brothers. I like it. I think it's a great idea.
No, I agree. I agree with you. And I think there's some actual video of gameplay. It's literally a Smash clone. Like, you see them like in the same mechanics the whole night. I don't even think there's not gameplay in this trailer, but it's a cool idea. And when we were thinking about it, I was talking to John about it. He started going off the beaten path, saying, "Hey, this is something that Microsoft should think about doing." People have been talking about this. That they should be doing this for a while.
Very long time. That this is what I hope the next Quake is.
But yes, hear John on this. There you go. Yes.
Yeah. Me and Kay were talking in the green room about it, and the thing is that now that Microsoft, once that ABK deal goes through and everything, and that's closed up, they're gonna have a lot of IPs on them. But in my opinion, like you said, Everborn, a Quake-like shooter will be better, a hero shooter.
Hero shooter,
yes, because those IPs, the synergy with those IPs would be better, and it would lend itself better to like a hero shooter type, slash Unborn tournament type game. I think that would be fantastic, and a missed opportunity, just like Halo missed an opportunity to piggyback off that show. I think it would be a missed opportunity if they don't do something like that.
So will you guys play this when it comes out officially? We all give it a shot. It is free to play and all that. They're going for the Fortnite crown. What do you guys think?
I definitely want to. I definitely am going to try it when I don't have to give away my email address and things like that.
I'm sure you'll end up having to give away your email address whether you like it or not, but I hear you. I may not be running out to go like grab this immediately, but I will definitely give it a shot when it becomes more readily available. So let us move along quickly because it did make some news. People were talking about it, so I thought it was an interesting thing to bring up. But Assassin's Creed Origins has been dated for Xbox Game Pass. Who hasn't played that yet? Do we care? Are we happy? Is this you haven't played that yet? Okay, Everborn,
I played that. Yeah, I played about 25% of it, so I haven't run through it yet.
I've beaten this game. I've put like 3 days into this game. It is one of the best representation of like Egyptian black folk, how it looks, how it feels. It is so cool. You're on a camel in Egypt. It is so cool. Now, does Odyssey one up it? Yes, it does. It's like this was the best representation, the best version of Assassin's Creed for me. Like I played days of this game, and then Odyssey came out after it and I went, they're in Greece. I probably won't like it, this and that. And then I put days in that as well, because that one like ups the ante and like the whole RPG elements go crazy.
Speaking of Egypt, right? Like, so just I know we're coming to the end with Ragnarok of the Norse mythology. So he's done Greek, he's done Norse. Does he go to Egypt next? Although I don't like the optics of that.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea.
Exactly. Although it doesn't kind of
it does kind of give me Resident Evil 5 vibes if we do that.
Oh, let's not go back there.
But
somewhere again, Crazy Lou's going, damn it. No, but seriously, if you haven't played this game, it is definitely worth
and Kay, I think correct me if I'm wrong, but is this game isn't there also a rumor that they're going to put out some type of patch on this, a 60 FPS
Yeah, I think
patch?
it might be 60 frames. I think they're going 60. I think they're going 4K 60.
I'll jump back in. I'll give it a try.
Is my man, yo. This game, like, had Odyssey not come back out and like literally taken up all the attention, this game is just so good. This is when they fully embrace the RPG of what do you call it, of Assassin's Creed, and they let the whole future stuff they threw all that away. This game is freaking awesome. If you haven't played it, you have to.
You know what's another question that it raises, at least that my eyebrow raises here? Does this kind of give some indication that Ubisoft Plus is coming also to Game Pass?
Well, that's an interesting conversation, good sir. And we will put a pin in that because we're coming to that. We will definitely come into that because Ubisoft seem to be taking that place that Square Enix crown. You got money? We got pockets. Give it to us. And they're taking it from all comers. Pause. We'll get there. We'll get there.
But no, you said Ubisoft treats their IPs like John Wolfe treated his Steam Deck.
But you gotta flip it. Flip it.
But yes. So this is just my quick PSA, letting folks know that if you haven't tried out Odyssey, it is. I said Odyssey Origins. It is absolutely worth your time. It's a huge game, and all the things that kind of got soured by Valhalla, transmog and all this stuff costing you money and all this, them adding in all the pay to win stuff, all that stuff started happening with Odyssey. So Origins missed all of the ridiculousness. It is a perfect representation of the Assassin's Creed formula. I really, really enjoyed it. So if you haven't had a chance to play it, it will be on Game Pass soon. It's been dated, so y'all need to check that out. We'll touch on this also real quick. We have so many stories, so we'll just touch on them really, really quickly and move along. This is not really a huge deal, but it's an interesting story nonetheless. Go ahead, everyone. I hear you coming.
I think it's a fun fact. I think the more interesting discussion is the reaction to this, right? Like, it's the Xbox fans was like, "This is it. This is the beginning of the end."
Yep.
We're
and
on
the
the
PlayStation fans are like, get out of here.
Yeah,
it's a
right.
breakthrough. It's a breakthrough.
Upset this made certain blue checkmark tech writers
Look
about this little fun fact. So.
Let me add this to the conversation, right? Look, when xCloud was launched in Japan, right? They launched when in Tokyo Game Show last year around September time. Is that correct? If I remember
roughly
correctly.
around that time. Yeah.
Look, I'm gonna be honest with you guys. I know that there's a little bit of sprinkled. Look, you got to sprinkle a little bit of everything into this success. Okay, there's the hardware shortages. There's the form factor, all that good stuff.
All of that adds in. Yep, absolutely.
But okay, the glimmer of hope that I think that if I was Xbox, I would see in this is that they have given a way for that Japanese audience to taste what the Xbox ecosystem has to offer. Okay. And if you really think about it, with Game Pass, they probably had to pay $1 to get in. Okay. In the door. Yeah. All right. Yeah. So as soon as they tasted what Xbox has to offer, can it be now? Okay. It's just 1 week. Let's not blow things out of proportion. Hardware shortages. We're all aware of that. We're all all logical thinking people. But can it be that?
Wait. Sorry, John. You said we're all logical.
We're all logical.
Well,
all of us on this show. How about that? We'll level set.
Even then, I think only about
calm yourself, there, bro.
Well,
2/3.
I think that we're all logical thinking people. We can say we can. I can confidently say that Xbox is seeing this, and I'm sure that they're looking at the metrics and they're seeing the engagement, because that's the key word here. The engagement appears to be looking good in Japan. And let's not front. Okay, I was on Boom Show yesterday. I asked Big Cloud Gaming, who's a big PlayStation guy. I asked him. You can check me on this, and Everborn K. You guys can check me on this as well. Right. I've gotten the perception from Sony for the last 2 or 3 years that they're kind of shying away from Japan and focusing heavily on the on the US
you
market.
Can tell by when they switched the acknowledge control from what it used to be in Japan to match what it is in America.
Right.
That upset a lot of Japanese gamers, and they did not care. They still kept it that way. So that told me from jump that they started splitting their focus. They're no longer focused on their home country.
Trying to be uniform. Okay, trying to be uniform. Now, again, that's not the difference maker, but it's something, right? But I will say that one of the things that I think that the Japanese gamer is embracing about the Xbox ecosystem is that now they have seen that, wait a minute, if they're offering us a cheap next gen console at $299 or whatever price they're selling it for over there, and the form factor is sexy, all that good stuff that appeals to the Japanese audience, and they can take their games on the go with xCloud. That, to me, I think is really what's driving up the engagement over there.
Yeah, no, I agree with you, because they are used to being able to take their stuff on the go. The network access in those regions are far better than here. They don't have to worry about that stuff. So being able to easily be able to pick up and go would be monstrous there. Tinfoil hat, crazy take on mine. Once this gets ready for prime time, if somebody can release the next gen version of this is why Switch is so monsters out there. Something pick up and play and go. Imagine if their Switch could hit 60 frames per second on an actual like pro level device that has real chips and real processors. Yes, that is shade on Switch.
Two words for you.
It would own the environment.
2 words for you, Kay.
What's that?
Surface Deck.
There we go. So is that the new one, or are we going to stick with Sega? Is that the new one? Is Surface Deck going to be the new one?
Sega, but I'm just saying Surface Deck.
Okay.
Think about it. Panos, I believe in you.
Now, I've been saying this for a long time, Reborn, and Kay, on my first show, I told you.
Oh, here we go. Brother, y'all get your drinks ready.
Me and you, Everborn, we're gonna bond on this, brother. Right? We're gonna have a little bonding moment.
Give us the Sega minute. Go for it, gentlemen.
Listen,
a minute.
Listen, Xbox, hear me out. Phil, Sarah, are you listening to the show? Hear me out. You guys really want these console sales to continue week after week after week after week in Japan? All you got to do is purchase Sega and rebrand yourselves as the Sega Xbox. It sells itself. You paint that console from white to blue with that beautiful blue controller. Dude, it's done.
Bars.
It's done. It's
Bar.
John, it sells itself.
Message.
I'm cheap, dude. So Microsoft, you want to hire me? Everborn, I don't know. Everborn, are you cheap? I don't know.
No, I don't come cheap.
Okay, well, I'm fairly cheap. Okay, Microsoft, so come my way and let's talk, man, because that's all it's gonna take.
I've heard your take on this before, and although I don't think it's crazy, I think just like Everborn was talking about how 343 has to level their, like, get to a place where the ground is beneath them before they can start shooting from the stars.
You know what that's called?
I think the same thing needs to happen with Microsoft, with the gaming sector of Microsoft in general. They need to lay a level ground floor first and start shooting from the stars. Then that becomes more of a viable option. Go ahead.
What that's called is getting to a place where you can lift while you climb.
While you climb, right? That's right.
So
right now they cannot. They're lifting, but they're not climbing.
Right. So what would happen in such a scenario? I say Sega. Some people say Capcom, but I think Sega is the one. I think the relationship is there. I think anyway. But you. So before y'all continue, Slow-Mo says y'all are stealing his bars. That's one. Secondly, we got Drake and Kanye on the panel. So y'all are plagiarizers. I'm just saying. So listen. So Sega basically becomes Xbox Japan, and that is your headquarters. It's not just about the games Sega can produce. It's about the games that Sega can secure and publish for you, right? Mm-hmm. So Sega, or the folks at Sega and the publishing arm, can have those conversations in the rooms in Japan that maybe Microsoft doesn't even know how to get into.
I need to pull a quick audible for you, everyone, real quick. I must step away, continue your thoughts, and then go on to the next thoughts.
We could talk about this all day, Everborn. I could talk about this all day.
We're not going to get to Norman Reedus and Walking Simulator 2.
And shout out to Slow-Mo if you did say that a few years ago, brother. I didn't know that, but if you did, kudos to you, because we're aligned there. I've been saying this for a long time also, okay? It just makes
broken
sense.
Clocks are right twice a day. Don't listen to Slow-Mo.
It just makes sense, brother, because if you think about it, right, there's no connection, in my opinion, okay? What do I know? I don't live in Japan, right? But I would think, from everything I've seen and everything I've heard and read, they don't have that engagement with the Xbox brand. The Sega brand, now you got a connection there. Now you got nostalgia. Now you have all those things, the it factor that it takes for it really to be seen and taken serious.
Sega is a cultural brand over there, right? It was a big deal when they took their name off the building in Akihabara. Of course. If you have Microsoft step in as the parent company, still allow them to do what they do, right? In the same way you let Bethesda or ZeniMax do what they do, and Activision will do what they do. And each of those publishers operate under, under semi-autonomy. And to me, a Sega deal doesn't even really have to be about exclusivity, right? I think you can do a Sega deal, and especially even if they're region locked to Japan, I think those developers can still make games for Switch and some games for PlayStation. But the point is, they'll be in Game Pass, and nothing would miss the platform. And like I said, you do this with Sega, and Sega gets you in the room for a lot of these other things, right? Those are your emissaries that truly understand that market, that can come in and enough
for the Sega talk. We're
not done yet, because I want to add one more thing. Okay,
please, you get the last word, John. Go for it.
This is the last thing that I'll add to this. Okay, what in your opinion? Let's be real here. And Rand, you're wrong. You're wrong about that, Rand. There's millions of.
I love the slander, baby. Oh boy.
Rand, let me tell you what I saw, brother. I'll tell you the power that I saw. I took my little one to go watch Sonic 2. And and this is power, brother, because this right here tells you, this is how I gauge things. Mm-hmm. The excitement in the room when that Sega logo came on and those little kids' faces lit up, brother, it's a Marvel effect. It's a real thing.
Okay, I will throw one thing your way, just one thing, and then we will move on. I did go see Sonic 2 with my daughter.
Tell me they didn't use the MCU template.
Of course, at the very end, when it was all over and said and done with, and everyone was walking away, my daughter insisted we stay. Now, my daughter's 5. And I know why she insisted we stay, because she had been YouTubing this beforehand. and she had to see Shadow.
There you go.
Spoiler alert for the ending credit. She was super. I mean, every child was in the theater. It was pretty awesome. Like,
right.
Yes,
and this is what I mean by the MCU template with the after credit scene, the way you introduce new characters, the callbacks, the crowd pleasers, the standing ovations. Oh, they're gonna do it. That they've got that.
Man, you got Pixel Bit is in the chat advocating for they could easily do this because he's absolutely right. The Dreamcast library can be emulated by just turning on Xbox Dev Mode.
Fun fact about that Dreamcast library, Pixel Bit.
They were planning on doing that. Here we go.
Listen, 20 years ago, the head of Microsoft, Bill Gates at the time, was in talks with the CEO of Sega.
Breaking news alert. I don't mean to cut you. Real quick, for those looking for a Series S, they are now available for $230. Please continue.
Wow.
Go ahead.
Wow. No. But think about Jesus Christ. If they do that, then I'll be on the Microsoft buy Embracer train. But listen, they were actually in the middle of talks to purchase Sega. And what killed the deal is that Microsoft didn't want to do back compat with the Dreamcast. Yep. And if they could have worked that out, they would have purchased them. And
imagine a universe where Phil Spencer is in that conversation. We would have Sega right now.
Right? That could have happened. Sega wanted a path for people that had invested in the Dreamcast to move forward to the Xbox.
To keep playing.
And Gates wouldn't agree with it. The other thing Sega wanted was they didn't want to use Windows as the development environment. They wanted to bypass that and use their own development tools. And at the time, Bill Gates was like, no, if we do this, you got to use our tools. And those are the two things that killed that deal.
And look how they've come full circle, because now they are using Microsoft's development tools.
Well documented in the book Service Games, The Rise and Fall of Sega. So I'm not like, that's a thing. So the companies have a history. We know Microsoft provided the OS for the Dreamcast. And they're locked into a very close partnership now. This is all you need, and you just let them run things over there, and that's how you take that market. You got the Western market locked after this Activision deal. That's how you get in. You're never gonna get in. You've been trying 20 years on your own. You let Sega in there, let them run. Don't even show them your face. Don't even mention Xbox in that region. Just say Sega.
No, you're right.
We're on the same page on that.
So let us move along, shall we? Before we get to the main topics of the day, and there are a few main topics of the day, I kind of wanted to touch on this Norman Reedus thing. Have you guys seen this? Did this make your headlines? What, like, he basically kind of said they're making another one, right?
I think he's done this twice, actually, Kay, if I'm not mistaken. I think he slipped up twice, and it just goes to show you Norman Reedus ain't good with those NDAs. Because I think he's actually done this twice. Okay, but you know, look, I played the first Death Stranding. I got about I want to say 20 something hours into it, dude. Oh my god!
So you know what that game is. That 20 something in, yeah,
it's a very unique game, man. I mean, the soundtrack is fantastic. You know, Kojima does what he does. Not to give the game too much slander, I think what it was missing was a lot more action for me. I think I was expecting a little bit more Metal Gear and less FedEx UPS, dude.
And less walking simulator, like literal walking simulator. Yes.
Yeah. So that at least it caught me off guard. Now, you know, for the fans out there, if they're passionate about it, good for them that they're working on it and they're moving forward.
So we will move quickly along, but I have to do it. I'm sorry. Slow-mo backslap. I can't wait for Sony to buy Sega to see Everborn's head explode. Boy, on that day, holy, it'll be amazing. I cannot wait to see that day.
I think that will be the day that I become a meme in Twitter, like that you can readily use. It'll just be that single tier. You know, like when they used to show those littering commercials and then they would show the Native
and then you show the dude with the tier.
That's gonna be me.
So okay, we have two big stories today, and they kind of connect. Okay, I kind of saw this happening and I wanted to connect both of them. The first main story that we wanted to discuss was PlayStation finally revealing everything they have for the PlayStation subscription tiers and what they're offering and all of this. And I wanted to take a real reading of our audience and of our panelists to see, hey, you know, it may not be Game Pass because that's the barometer that most judge this against, but is it worth your money, right? So before we get there, let us quickly kind of give a quick overview of what we're looking at here, right? Most people know the pricing. Go ahead.
I do have a question with all these games that they announced, aside from the back compat stuff. Are those exclusive to the premium tier, or are they also in the plus tier?
That's the thing. All of that requires nuance. It's not a simple thing. Some go into the premium, some go into the essentials. None of them are in the essentials. The essentials are what they are continued today, right? So if you have PlayStation Plus,
and that right there is a problem, guys. If they're
it's
right
muddy.
off the bat,
the water is very muddy. Yeah,
right off the bat, it's very confusing for a consumer. But go ahead, continue.
No, you're absolutely right. Absolutely. So that question you have answered that you have, Everborn, it's kind of, there is an answer, but it's not really straightforward, right? It's kind of like depending on what tier you have, and the higher tiers have this, but the lower tiers have that. So it's not just bare minimum. In other words, if you really want to see the full effect of this, right? If you want, hey, this is PlayStation to you, the consumer, me, you, and our folks in the chat and the audience here. If you want the full effect of what this will do for you gaming wise, and maybe what you want to be a part of, premium or nothing. Essentials is just what you have already. Extra is premium or nothing. So at least $18 once a month. I may try it to see what it's about. I was saying this to John. I have tried Stadia. I have tried Luna. You know, I was even in the beta program of Stadia before it was called Stadia, Google Stream or whatever. You know, I've tried them. And then I decide what I like and what not, because that's what gamers do, right? We try stuff, and I'm a bit of a geek, so hey, it is what it is. But honestly, in my opinion, based on what we're seeing here, what they want you to try, well, first and foremost, I don't think it's meant for you. Not for you, not for me, not for people in this audience. It's meant for the casual who may not have a subscription at all, and this is their first idea of potentially getting into gaming subscriptions. And for that, I think this might be useful, right? My initial thought on it was, hey, what are you going to do to the old games? How are they going to look better on this new console? I have a 4K screen. Pixels will look extra crispy and ugly on my screen, right? You know, you're itching for us to buy OLEDs and this and that, so we did that. So that means old games look particularly bad on the screen. Pixel art works great, but when polygons first took over, and I'm looking at you, Siphon Filter, that's going to look like, oh boy, on our new fangled screens, right? But it's shout out to J-Mo Money. He pulling out the TCLs. No TCL slander here, sir. I don't have one, but hey, who knows? Might get one for the office. Who knows? We'll see. But I guess what excites me here is it looks like they are talking the talk. I don't know how they'll implement it from a technical standpoint, because I know how Microsoft implemented it, right? Based on emulation and all of that. But they are talking about increased screen resolution, more frames per second. They are talking about up-resing the older content to kind of make it a bit more palatable for the current gen we're in. And one thing that they are doing that Microsoft isn't doing that I have to give them credit for is they're actually adding achievos to the trophies to some of the older games to make folks like John Wolfe who are addicted to trophy hunting and achievement hunting want to jump back in. That's a very interesting idea. Go ahead, everyone.
So achievements were introduced in the beginning of the 360.
Yes. Correct. Yeah.
All right. So there's no achievements in OG Xbox games.
There are no achievements in OG Xbox games. That's right.
No.
That's right.
So that's one
up.
Yeah, that's a one up that they have on them right now.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's one game.
Microsoft, sure, and I think they may keep pushing forward in that direction. While Microsoft seemingly has left achievements behind, even though, let's be real, they pioneered that thing, and everyone has stolen it from them. Steam, everyone. Right?
That's a fact.
They started that achievements, and then it seems like they've kind of let it slide for a while others who basically followed along are now taking it to the next level, while Microsoft seemingly is not even paying attention to it anymore. I honestly think it's unfortunate. You know, they should, and I think I can say so. I was being part of the insider program on Xbox for a long time. They tested out some really awesome, like, next generational achievements things before with avatars. You know, they had like I was talking to them about, hey, make black people's hair more black. Don't just paint it dark. You know, they were really going there, and then they dropped it. I think so. They kind of sort of did in a halfway. Like now, if you check out my avatar, I have a cool African dashiki on and all this. These are all things that were added in the 2.0 version, right? But it seems like they haven't made a real push. I think we always give them the slander here, Righteous Smoke, that they're not really promoting their stuff well. So even though avatars are still kind of there and they're doing newer things, nobody really knows because Microsoft themselves haven't really pushed it. Right?
The avatars were a byproduct of the Wii success when the PS3 and the 360 try to become more casual friendly.
Yep.
And target that audience.
They tied the avatar system to the achievement system,
right?
So now it's like they've kind of left both of them high and dry.
You're right.
Whereas the others are innovating, you know.
Yeah,
and
you're right.
You tell me, John. You know, new trophies coming to, let's say, Siphon Filter. Will that not give you a chance to play it again? Will that not entice you to maybe try again?
It would, and I can see, people that are fully invested in the ecosystem, like I am on the Xbox side. Like I told you the story when those achievements started popping on that Steam Deck. I'm like, well, what's going on right now? You know,
what is this?
What am I contributing to here? Because obviously my ecosystem, where I've built my library, my collection and everything has been on the Xbox platform. So it feels alien. It felt alien to me, right? So I can see how something like this, if they're able to really pinpoint, this will draw some people in. I'm not gonna lie to you. Going the idea of playing Siphon Filter through an emulator and not getting anything for it. Some people might not care, but there might be a few selected. Now, is it the majority of the people? Is it the masses? No, but I'm sure that there is a small percentage of people that will want this. And kudos to Sony, right? They didn't have to do that. So, as much as they have their fumbles and they roll stuff out half-assed and stuff like that. We got to give them props on this. It looks like it's going to have a rewind feature as well. So it looks
and let's be real here. Let's be a buck. This is all stolen from the emulation community who's been doing this for years,
absolutely,
without anybody telling them what
I just
to do.
thought, so one way I think you could, because a lot of people say they need to improve the achievement systems, but short of just like emulating what trophies do, I've never heard much of answers in terms of.
There's been more. So, I'll tell you some of the ones that were thought.
Well, let me give you one example, and then you give me some others. So. I think if you had a simple badge with a counter of the number of games you've completed, and then each game, when you go to it, you can say, I have this many achievements, or I have this gamer score for this game, but I also have the completed badge.
Well, that completed badge on PlayStation side are the platinum trophies.
Yeah, it's a platinum.
So it tells you have 15.
No, but listen, right? I think it's gold,
but that's completed the game.
I think on Xbox,
that's completed.
I think on Xbox it's like, is it a diamond that comes up, or are those rare achievements?
Those diamonds are rare achievements that pop based on how many people have achieved them. So all of them are potentially diamond until a lot of people started unlocking.
Platinuming on PlayStation is like getting 1,000.
Yeah, that's completing the game completely.
That's not what I mean. I mean, you just beat the game.
Oh, even with extra things left over, it still marks it as achieved. I get that.
Right.
What I will tell you is one of the things they were testing is real life achievement unlocks. Like you're helping people, or you help someone somewhere.
Like you got a mortgage.
No. Like in the gaming system, in the gaming space, they were.
You grew up in the hood and never been to jail.
You've invested it.
That's right. You've never been to jail. Achievement unlocked. No, they're talking about like, oh, you saw looking for group, and then you helped somebody beat the Elden Ring boss, and they were so happy they nominated you, and then you get an achievement for like a good player achievement or something that can't be taken away from you because you did something cool that the community recognized.
I need somebody they wanted to do rewind achievement to Shinobi.
So make it easy. Okay, so to answer your question, Everborn, real quick, you were asking what is where to kind of prove our point about how complicated this all is. Ubisoft Classics, okay, and we're coming back to Ubisoft Classics because we remember John mentioned that in the beginning. Ubisoft is trying to create EA Play, literally EA Play, right? They're trying to create the same exact thing. Now, EA Play has the cheap tier and has the more expensive tier on the PC side, right? But They also have the cheap tier that has the vault, which means older games after a certain set amount of time join that vault, right? So what has happened on the Xbox side is they have integrated the EA Play system into Game Pass, right? So you get the EA Play Vault, which is all the old games, plus certain strategic games that will drop in there if deals are had. It looks like Ubisoft is doing the same, but they're starting their vault, calling it Ubisoft Plus Classics, and adding that vault to the PlayStation tier. Now, you were asking, where does that go? Based on their website, it says the Classics will be available for the Extra and the Premium members, meaning the Essential members don't get that, right? Extra being if you have PlayStation Plus today, you play a little bit more, or that Premium that unlocks everything. Those are the ones that get access to the PlayStation Plus, the Ubisoft Plus Classics tier. Now, what does that mean? It means when the service starts from jump, there'll be very little games in there because Ubisoft Plus has not had a vault yet.
Here's the thing.
Eventually, it'll be a big vault, but for now, it'll be 1 or 2 Ubisoft games, and that's it.
Here's the thing. I stopped paying attention like 35 seconds ago, and that just shows how confusing and obtuse this thing is.
Yes.
Right.
Let's see. Cloud streaming requires speed. PC streaming users must be 18 plus. So if you're not 18 plus, you can't stream the game.
I think that
check your ID before you stream.
I think that the bottom line, and I heard this on an earlier podcast. So I think it was on the next podcast where I heard this. They got too many tiers. Okay, this is a mess. All right, so a bit more structured would have been nice. Just have your basic tier, and it's all or none. Okay, in my eyes, but whatever. This is the route that they decided to go. I'll tell you what. When the announcement came out on the Monday and they put out their list, I was pleasantly surprised at how much they were offering, because all of a sudden there were talks about all these first party titles being in there, plus the addition of Ubisoft, right? Ubisoft, what they're calling classics, I guess. The only thing is that how come all the Ubisoft games aren't in there? And it could be because Sony have set themselves up for some type of roadmap. Where they didn't want to put everything from day one.
So John, real quick, the reason why I suspect that's not the case where they put all the Ubisoft games in there, because that service is expensive. You play, what do you call it? EA Play is a shell of what Ubisoft is asking. Their plus tier, I think it's $20 or something like that, like $18, $20 or something like that. There is no way. Like EA Play was what, $20 a year. So what can Microsoft do? They can obviously subsidize that cost, add it into Game Pass at no extra cost. $20 a month into Game Pass or into PlayStation's tier. There is no way they're subsidizing $20 per person per month to add all their games. That's why they're doing the classics. Because those classics are just older games that they throw in there. They're not adding any of the new stuff because that's expensive.
But the reason it's expensive is because Ubisoft, like Game Pass, they offer the day and dates.
Yep.
Correct.
Exactly.
So right
it's their Game Pass competitor, that Ubisoft Plus, and they charge you like almost $20 a month for it to get all the Ubisoft games day one. And I don't think now, to be clear, they will be releasing Ubisoft Plus as a service on PlayStation and on Xbox. Right now, they've also announced that
I'll be right back.
No worries, brother. Go ahead. They've also announced that they're putting the classic collection in the PlayStation tier, right? But I suspect it's only a matter of time until you hear that classic collection also joining Game Pass. Because remember, this is Ubisoft we're talking about. They want the money.
I'm of two minds with this, Kay. The one part of me says that have they put enough value on paper here to justify my $18? I'm gonna have to say yes, they have. I'm not gonna lie to you. The addition of these of the promise, because right now it's a promise of these classic games coming through with the trophy support, with the rewind features, the addition of the Ubisoft classics, as they're calling them, and some pretty
basically the Ubisoft Vault.
And some pretty big first party bangers that are in there. I know everybody hates that word, but whatever, I'm gonna use it. I think it's justified for at least to pay the first month and to give them a shot to see where it goes. Let's see how they can build on this, right? Now, obviously, the elephant in the room, brother. I mean, it's a debatable topic. It's something that obviously Sony's not gonna do now. The day and date is the big one here because we can't help but compare. We can't help but say that's what's missing here, right? If they were guaranteeing day and date, God knows how much the consumer would be willing to even spend extra. $21.99, $22. You know what I'm saying? So if they were providing at least the option with one of these tiers, this conversation would be it would be a lot easier to have, right? But I do give them credit. I think that they have put enough on paper here to have a nice starting point here. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna hate. It's just it's just the truth.
I agree with you, and I will also be one that will be trying this tier. I will not subscribe to the monthly the year right off the bat unless maybe there's a crazy deal that's undeniable or something. But I will definitely give it a month try. I've already said it on the show before. I want to live in that world where I have 2 subscription services, one for PlayStation, one for Xbox, and I get all my games fulfilled that way, and I never have to worry about it. Right? Clearly, this is not that because I too want day and date. I think it's a necessity for me to get in like full-fledged. But based on what they're offering here, it's worth my try. I will definitely give it a try and see how I feel about it. Let's get a beat on the community real quick. I just put a poll out in the chat if you gentlemen want to answer.
They've converted in the matter of a week and a half or 2 weeks. They've converted from laughable to
to interesting.
Exactly.
That's right.
So kudos on them for doing that. Yeah. I just think that this whole tiered system, they should have thought. They
need to work out the kinks a bit. You're absolutely right. So in the chat right now, if you choose to answer, we have yes, we have no, we have Sony buys, Sega confirmed. Which one do you choose? Do we buy it? Are you going to try it for a month? Are you not going to try it for a month? Let's see. Let's take a beat of the room real quick and see where we are with it. While we're getting that done, this is what I thought was also quite interesting. Okay. And we will do this, and I'm sure Everborn will join us momentarily soon. But check this out. So we heard from a long time ago that they could not get PlayStation 3 games on the PS4 or the PS5 because PS3 cell processor very hard to emulate. Blah blah blah.
Let's be real. Let's call it for what it is. They've been cheap. Okay,
because no, but you know what? I won't deny it from a tech perspective, and that's where that's where my bread and butter is. Even when Microsoft announced that they were emulating all their back stuff with back compat, Shuhei Yoshida came out and said, "Look, man, that's a brilliant move on their part. It's great. Wish we could do it. We can't do it." He said this because the cell processor is hard as heck to emulate in software. So clearly, I mean, since that time, the community has solved some. The PS3 modding community, the emulation community, isn't huge because it's complicated, but it's further along than it used to be, right? And now emulation is possible. It looks like these are the games. If you see my screen now, these are the games here that will be in that PS3 section, and none of them will be downloaded and playable native. You have to play them from the cloud because they can't emulate it locally. It has to be emulated up there and streamed to your screen. What do you think of them?
Here's what's interesting that stands out the page for me, and shout out to Mystic, who's a great PlayStation channel, very level-headed, goes into awesome content. He put out a video right where he kind of highlights the PlayStation Now library, how it stands now to where when it gets converted to this PS Plus tiered system, and he mentioned something that kind of caught my attention. There's a lot of PS3 titles I think that they're removing. And I wonder if it's due to licensing agreements or possibly, legal stuff. I'm sure that's what it is, because if they could provide it, they would, right? So
I mean, think about it. Even Microsoft tends to be a bit more transparent. Like the best beard in the business, Jason Ronald has come out and said, even though they can emulate and bring it all out there, it still requires publisher approval, and they don't always get that. So it stands to reason it's the same here too.
I got an itch sometime about a year and a half ago. I got the itch to go back and play the God of War collection, the God of War Ascension. So I signed up for PS Now, right? And as I started playing the games, I quickly realized that it wasn't for me because it wasn't one-to-one where I wanted it. It could totally be a me problem. It could have been my internet connection, the way I have my setup or whatever.
Yeah,
But
PlayStation Now streaming isn't great. It isn't
it's,
great.
that's the general population's thought on it. That's why.
And let's be clear, they started that streaming thing way before Microsoft did.
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
bought my Sony Bravia 2013, I think it was. It had a PlayStation Now logo right on the home screen. You could connect a PS3 controller and literally stream PS3 games from the cloud then. Oh, and we seem to have lost Mr. John Wolf. He's been having internet issues from time to time, so we'll get him back on. I'm sure he'll jump back in. Let me see. Let me kick him, and he'll come back. Yeah, he'll definitely come back. No worries. But yes, I see folks in the chat still going into it. I honestly think that the PS3 collection is interesting, but they gotta kind of solve this whole can only be streamed on the internet from the net and can't be played locally stuff. That stuff bugs me a little bit because it's kind of like, come on now, like, yes, it's true that in the beginning it was difficult, right? And emulation was a problem.
You see,
we've
that's
come
why
a long way since then.
You see, Kay, that's why I can't stream. No, sorry about that.
No worries, brother.
Remember that USB issue I told you? It just happened right now. So
it just happened. Understood.
So
and I see Beast Mode in the chat. You are absolutely correct, sir. They're basically using the Gaikai technology to continue. And that technology, although was ahead of its time, it hasn't matured very well, right? So back then, when they were the only game in town, them and OnLive, and yes, I tried both of those too, right? Them and OnLive, that's right. And they were great for what they were at the time. But since that time, you have Google innovating, you have Microsoft innovating, cloud computing has come so far since then. And it seems like PlayStation kind of went, okay, Gaikai is now PlayStation Now. So move on.
Exactly.
So bandwidth better. They didn't work on anything. They just kept it as it was with the bandwidth constraints it had from then.
Correct.
And they've been moving forward ever since.
So what I did
now, unfortunately, is not good enough. I'm sorry, John. Go ahead.
You're good, and I'm sorry. Let me finish the story before I forget my train of thought where I was going with this. Is that so? I tried it out. I subscribed to PS Now. I gave it a try. It just wasn't up to snuff, right? There was too much artifacting, too much delay on my side. So I pulled out the PS3, brother, and I played through the games, and just the experience is just completely different. Native will always reign supreme. We all know that, but it's not. Look, I've tried out all the streaming services, and I have to give kudos to Google on their tech. I think that they've done it the best. So if I was Sony and I wanted to push, this service forward and give some good quality here, I would really team up with Google on whatever type of technology it is that they're using, because in my opinion, Google Stadia has been the best streaming service that I've used. Even better than xCloud. Even better than xCloud.
It's 100% better than xCloud. No doubt on that. I would say the only service that I have used, and I've tried Luna as well, the only service that I have used that hands down beats everyone that I've seen so far, believe it or not, GeForce Now. NVIDIA GeForce Now. Okay. They got the 4K straight, 60 frames per second straight, ray tracing. If you have the connection righteous, it's like you're playing native. It's so good, like really good, but it's also expensive. So, it is what it is. I honestly think that that's the reason why Microsoft plays it the way they do. Oh, it's an option because they know theirs is not the best game in town, but as an option, it's perfect, right? You can play natively and you can play, in the cloud if you so choose. That's the problem that Google couldn't get over. They thought people would just love the whole play it online and then move forward. What if your connection's not great? You're stuck, right? So although I do agree with y'all that, hey, they should make some kind of backroom situations, have conversations and possibly like integrate or buy the Google Stadia technology, because they're now, since they've kind of like stepped away from the consumer market, they're trying to leverage it as an option for third parties to use for their game streaming options, right? I think Microsoft is probably trying to beat them at their game rather than buy them, but maybe buying them might be a better option. We don't know how it'll look. Yeah.
Okay, for me, what the dream would be, obviously, and I know that because of licensing and stuff, we'll never reach that dream, but wouldn't it be nice to be able to turn on and pay for a service and turn on a real PlayStation network where they have all a crap load of PS1 games, PS2, PS3, and it really feels like a collection of of a nice collection of library, because right now with the licensing, the peanuts that we get, it just feels like it falls short, in my opinion.
And brother man, you are so correct, and that is the reason why devices like this succeed, because those that know can turn it into that device. I'm just saying.
It's also the same reason people will pay $1,500 for it.
Exactly.
Now,
welcome back, sir.
About Stadia, I wonder if part of its performance, the way it's able to achieve part of its performance is
and to be clear, let's be clear here. Stadia didn't start out that way. They used to fake 4K for a long time. When I was testing it, they faked 4K a lot. They were using the YouTube compression algorithms to say it's 4K when it wasn't. That's changed now.
But that's which is fine, right? Because what cloud needs to be is the same thing Netflix and YouTube need to be, which is good enough.
Exactly.
Right, and that's what it's for. And
I think now it's there.
Right,
it is there now. It wasn't there before when we first tested it.
So now you have to think of, with cloud gaming, I think you have to think of it in the same way that an audio file will think of music. Like you and I will throw some headphones on and listen to something in an iPod or your phone.
Oh, bro, hit it even closer to home. You're never watching The Matrix on Netflix. You're putting the Blu-ray in. That's what you're doing. Doesn't mean that everybody's going to watch it that way, but that's how we're watching it.
Right, and that's the thing. So there's always going to be people that obviously the native experiences will always trump what's in the cloud, and there will always be people that want that. But once the cloud experience or the digital experience becomes good enough for the masses to where you can reliably fake 4K and you can use tricks to hide the latency issues, I think that becomes the dominant the dominant way that we experience games now. But the thing I was saying about Stadia is that they have I think a larger footprint in terms of YouTube data centers, right? And I wonder
if they don't.
They don't really.
No, they don't. The way it's tiered right now, it's, believe it or not, it's Google in third place as far as footprint is concerned.
I understand that, but in terms of where these things are deployed, I would think that
they might be strategically located.
Right.
Yeah, they are strategically, but by sheer number of footprint, it's Amazon first, Microsoft second, Google third. But they all share certain overseas streamlines to get to certain places, things like that. So
look at Slow-Mo's comment. If we gotta keep it a buck.
Indeed. No doubt, brother man. No doubt. Good job.
But I would add, as they should.
As they should.
Facing native 100%. 4K is a fool's errand.
It's a fool's errand. Indeed it is. And we should all be smart enough to know that now. Because checkerboard and all of that stuff used to be, oh, you're faking it. And now DLSS, specifically on the Windows side anyway, on the PC side, looks better than real 4K in many instances. So
right. I feel like games should just, as a standard, why not target 1440p and just give everybody that performance they want, instead of running after, hey, we can do 1800p or 1700p for what?
And now Everborn Saga, you're coming to my realm of thinking where once they start development smarter rather than harder, then all of a sudden you'll start seeing some benefits for the next gen consoles in general that you didn't expect to see before, because they're still developing on, oh, this processor is faster than that processor. Oh, this RAM is more than that RAM. When they develop smart and they start using software to bridge the gap, you'll see a lot more there. And yes, Series S will shine, good sir.
Yes, beast mode. Nobody timed you out.
Oh no, I hope not. Yeah, you always welcome here, good sir. There's no way you were timed out. I hope there's no issue. Yeah, I'm not sure who timed me out here. No, definitely not. You are not timed out here, sir. You're definitely always welcome. I hope it wasn't by accident. Anyway, so I'm loving this conversation, and I kind of want to transition this to the next report, and that will bridge the gap in talking about.
Well, one thing
we've already seen.
Before we go on, just one thing about this topic. What I'm happy about with PlayStation Plus, although it's not for me yet, is that finally we can start talking about the value that subscription services provide, because now magically a bunch of people that hated subscription services are now on board and weighing these things for the value that they provide.
Oh, it's a good thing,
so
right?
we can have adult conversations now.
Indeed.
Like every time we don't get to have the adult conversation until one company does something. But I digress.
So let me ask you, Everborn. I asked John, and he gave me a very interesting answer. I pulled the chat, and so far, PlayStation Plus Premium at $18 a month. And I'm saying 18 because it's 18 unless you decide to subscribe for a year. And I don't think I will be doing that. I may try 18 1 month or 2 months just to see how it feels. But at $18 a month, PlayStation Plus, you had the options: yes, no, or Sony buys Sega confirmed. And we have 23% of our audience saying yes, they will try it. 64% saying heck no, they will not try it, and 14% hoping that Sony buys.
That was slow-mo and J-Mo money voting over and over again.
And Kay, let me ask Everborn. Let me ask it from this point of view. Like, do you think that they've done enough to at least give, do you think they've done enough for people to at least give them a try for 1 month? Have they put enough on paper?
I think they haven't done enough for the hardcore, but they have done enough for the entry level, and it's enough to where I want to waste my $18 this month just to see.
How about you, Everborn?
After I play it real quick, then I'll know for sure if it's worthy or not. Right now, it's $18 is not the worst thing in the world.
I don't know. For me, I was happy with my normal old PlayStation Plus subscription where they had the PlayStation Collection. And I got Horizon.
Woke up in the morning.
And I got Uncharted.
Violence.
And I got all these games with that, and God of War. I think God of War came in there. I can't remember if I bought that.
Yeah,
or not.
I think it did.
But the point is, to me, that was fine. There's nothing here yet that has me saying I'll subscribe.
See, here's the question, Everborn. When you jumped into PS5 and you got to play all those, that was your entry point into all of these. Imagine had you done that, you took, and it's been famously described, you took a break, for a while, you just came in
5 years old.
In the later on that's right. Imagine if you came
basically after the
PS5
Xbox went downhill in 2015. Yeah. I was just like, it's like the Knicks.
No, I get you.
Stop paying attention to basketball.
Imagine
the 90s.
Imagine in the imagine this drought that you had. You came back at the PS5 gen and you were offered these subscription tiers as your entry level. Would this have been enticing to you as a person coming in fresh? Because I think that's the target audience, not us.
Not at $18 a month. But and yearly $120 a year. Even that's a little
yeah, especially when you look over the street and see the competitor and go,
this is like a strong $7.99.
Yep,
like that I'm in there. But
at that price is a no-brainer almost.
Yep,
right.
Yep.
So
if they wanted to win the subscription wars, they should have been cheaper than Xbox is offering.
Think about it. Let's think about that, because that's an interesting point right there, right? Because I'll tell you right off the bat, what got me to subscribe initially to Disney Plus was the promise of the Marvel properties coming in, obviously, but it was also that price point, man. That price point was huge. Okay, now if they would have launched with the same price,
more expensive,
or more expensive. All right, in this case, you're right, because they are more expensive than Game Pass. If they would have launched more expensive with the promise of what's to come, I don't know if I
would pay $20 a month for day and date.
I would too.
PlayStation.
True, me too.
I would too.
Yes, you give me day and date on all games that come out from. Hey, you were part of the PlayStation ecosystem. This is your thing. Every month, every game that comes out, first party, you get it in this subscription. $20. I'll do it.
Because that's the thing. I just don't like the idea. This is me and my money. I'm not speaking. I'm not speaking as Kant, right? What is good, for me is good for the world, right? Speaking specifically for me and my wallet. So don't at me. There's a certain confidence that you get when whatever the first party is, whenever it comes out, you get it.
It's mine.
It's all about the idea of giving away my money for a monthly subscription, and I don't know what's coming. And whatever you do put out, you're gonna put it out there when you feel like it. I can't pay you when I feel like it, right?
That's right.
For me, you're either going to have to lower the price on this, or you're going to have to do day and date. And if you do day and date, you can increase the price. That's right. Just the way I feel about this subscription. So I will be staying with Essential. Excuse me. But do I lose my PlayStation collection now?
No. Initially, they did not speak on it. And I was like, what's going down? No one said anything. But Grub has come out and said, and I actually think since I was making hay on it and Grub has spoken about it, they have come and put verbiage around it that even the Essential tier, the way it is today is the way it'll be when the subscription starts. It'll just be called something else.
That I downloaded, but are they going to add more to the PlayStation?
No, but they never did. Like since PS5 has been launched, they've never added anything else to that PlayStation Plus collection. They don't do that. Right. Okay. So it's just going to be there. It is what it is. And they'll just move forward and you'll just get that as an entry level, which, hey, it's not that terrible.
Do you guys agree, though, with this whole day and date conversation? And we can move past after this. But do you guys agree that my point of view is that, look, Sony's not going to budge on that until either Microsoft closes the gate that they're right on their heels right there, or they fall behind Microsoft. That's when I think they'll reconsider this whole
when they're pushed to do so, then they'll do so. And many folks in the chat have said that too. They don't need to right now because they haven't been pushed to do so.
Right, and that's the point, right? But I don't think Jim Ryan or whoever else is going to be able to go back to their shareholders and watch Microsoft have, one day 100 million subs and say we don't need to be in that because it doesn't work.
That's right. That's right.
Right. Yep. And I just think they're positioning themselves to where, hey, let Microsoft figure this out. They got the money to burn. And if they do, because they haven't proven that yet, 25 million is not enough to prove that. Yeah. If and when they prove it, we're ready. Day one, flip a switch. That's
their MO, right? Right, Everborn. I've heard you say that before, and I think
but there's nothing wrong with that.
And there isn't. No, but that is their MO.
It's the Apple model, right? Wait until all the kinks are worked out, and then guess what we've invented? The thing you've been using on the other side for all these years. Yeah, that's what they do, and it works for them every single time. Hey, that's their market. Before we move to the big story, and I want to thread the needle and add a bunch of stories together, and we're really going to have a great conversation. I would say thank you again for everybody that's watching. Our chat is so lively. I always love that part of this show. It's like they're either having the same conversation or a different conversation, and I can't even focus on what's going on here because the chat is just so crazy right now. It's beautiful. I love it. I love you guys in here. Please hit the like button. Please subscribe. We're moving on to the big story. Everborn, you get the last word. Go ahead.
Yeah, last word on this. I think what the other beauty of these subscription services, especially as we move to a cloud native world in the dystopian future,
that's what we're
is
going
that
now.
you don't necessarily have this competition doesn't need to exist, right? People can, because the barrier of entry is so low. There's nothing to say, just like I have a Disney Plus and a Netflix, you can have both and we don't have to fight each other. We just have those subscriptions, right? And then we can actually
it works for both of us. It works for us all, gamers, right?
Yeah. Right. We can talk about the content instead of the other thing.
The wishy-washy, that's right. The list wars, as they call them. But okay, so this is the final story, and I think
hold on. Beast mode.
Not just one.
The CFO was lying, but go ahead.
Yeah. That they can't do that. Well, they can't do the Microsoft model. No, they can. They just won't.
Exactly. That's exactly.
They won't because
words right out
until
of my
they're
mouth.
Forced.
They can't. No. They can't, or they won't because
until they're forced to. That. So okay, here's the big story, and I kind of want to combine this story, which is a late breaking story, which is amazeballs. What we're looking at here. This story, which is what Embracer is planning on doing with all their new acquisitions. And the sad news of the AAA delays we've seen for the year, and ask the question that needs to be asked: what does 2022 look like for primarily console gamers? Now, for me, I'm good because I'm isolating myself from you two troglodytes right now because y'all are console gamers and I game everywhere, so I'm good. Everyone. Oh, here we go. There you go. Yes. I need you to
roll my eyes.
Come on, man. Come roll your eyes. Yes. Jesus, but for y'all who need to have this in hand to enjoy yourselves, How is the rest of the year gonna look like when there are no games? No, I'm just messing with y'all. This is just
Hey man,
I'm being trolling. Calm down.
Hey, K, there's plenty to play. You got Doom Immortal launching,
bro.
Hey, listen, a lot of people are sleeping on Doom Immortal. That's gonna be a monster.
Oh yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. I'm
Super
in no way, shape, or form doubting.
Diablo. I'm sorry.
Diablo Immortal. Yeah.
Diablo Immortal.
I'm just using that ridiculous talking point that people do. I'm just kidding. But let's focus on what exactly is going on here, right? So we've like this latest report, right? And this is the latest and greatest report that basically, as recently as like a week or two ago, these conversations were being had. EA is being fought over by Amazon, Disney, Apple, and nearly actually merged with NBC Universal. You know, the team, the NBC Universal, who has, am I wrong, everyone? Doesn't NBC Universal own the Discovery deal? Aren't they adjacent to that?
No,
or they're a separate entity, right?
Nothing.
They're a separate entity. Okay. So that tells you.
But what they do own is the distribution rights for the Hulk. And if you're mad at what the MCU has done to the Hulk, it's because Disney's trying to devalue the character so they can buy it back.
So they can buy it back from Universal. Exactly. But yes, and this is where we are right now.
Did what he did to him in Infinity.
So Everborn, you said something super interesting to me when this news came out, and I really think you are right. You're onto something in that. This could be right, because what we're seeing here, these reports that we're seeing here, this is stuff that you get regurgitated to you, the consumer, way after the fact. Those that are in the know, those who have the wallet and the pocket to actually handle this kind of business, knew about this for months. This could be why Microsoft was so gung-ho about that ABK deal, because look what the other giants are doing. They're out there eating left and right. EA is EA's meat. And these guys are literally fighting over scraps, right? And that's what it looks like right now. And it still could go down because this is a fresh story that literally the NBCU deal just fell through. There's a universe where we wake up in the morning and we hear that EA has been merged with NBC Universal, and our minds are blown. That just never happened. What do you think, everyone?
So there's a lot of layers to this, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
And this is sort of, I think, what Phil was talking about with keeping stuff in-house and keeping the industry too. So now I do need to be clear, that was self-serving of Phil. And like I said in the private chat, he is like the fox in the hen house warning of other foxes, right?
He's one of them.
Right? Yeah. Again, he might be the nicest fox, but he's a fox, right? Because that basically says, listen, man, just let us buy everything because we'll keep it the same.
Look what's going on.
We can't trust those guys, right?
That's right.
So again, I think that there's a reason people are parking their money. There's fears of a recession, rampant inflation, market corrections, things like that. And people are kind of parking their money into these content creators.
And they saw and they saw, real quick, to add to your point, real quick, I'll let you continue. They saw with the pandemic and what gaming meant that, hey, here's the new game in town, so to speak. We may, us Disney, NBC Universal, we may not be in the gaming market, but hey, did you see how much money they were making when movies weren't being shown? You see how much? And
listen. If I'm one of those billion trillion dollar companies, I'm thinking, listen, what's to stop another pandemic from happening? Look how this one put us on our knees.
That's right. What's to stop people from being able to communicate with each other anymore? Hence, the multiverse is so big now. Hence, gaming is so big now. We can't touch each other in real life, so we have to be able to virtually be able to communicate. That's why gaming has become tip of the spear for all of us.
The thing to pay attention to, though, and I think Apple and Amazon and Disney, they're all looking at this stuff because if Microsoft is successful and they can complete the Activision deal unscathed, I think that is the canary in the coal mine. I think they're all waiting to see if Microsoft can get this deal through, and then you will really
waiting for MS to take all the arrows as they're following that PlayStation model, as everyone tends
to.
Because
if there's nothing, because the only company that has more money in the bank than Microsoft is Apple, and if Apple wants you, they're gonna get you. Right?
You're done. That's right. It's a wrap.
So again, but let's see if Microsoft can close this deal. If they can, I think that's when you see the Amazons and the Disneys just swoop in, throw the money around, and kind of just take what they want. And so they are sort of, Microsoft sees this, they know this, they have data that we can't possibly imagine.
Yep.
And they want to be ahead of it because this is their market to lose. These other companies,
so, real quick,
one thing though.
Yeah, go ahead.
These other companies, and this is a fact, this is not, we can call it self-serving all we want. These other companies are not gaming companies, right?
No, they're not.
Microsoft.
That's exactly where I was going with that.
Even before the Xbox has been rooted in gaming, whether it's PC gaming first, DirectX.
They had a game in the
Xbox,
70s.
Right? Exactly.
They owned a game from the 70s. They've been in gaming forever. So that's what makes the Slow-Mo's question so apt. He says, please, someone buy EA so BioWare has a chance to be great again. I don't think NBC Universal is that company, or any of these guys are that
or
company.
Disney
or Apple. I think short of Microsoft, because BioWare was great with Microsoft.
Well, hold on.
Jade Empire shined bright.
Hold on a minute.
On Xbox.
Well, just one thing though. And I'm sorry, John. The thing is, in the future cloud native hellscape where you don't buy anything anymore and you don't own anything,
dystopia,
and you're right, and you just subscribe to everything,
and everything's blockchain backed,
right? In the world, right, the metaverse hellscape. In this world,
we wake up in the morning and put on our visors and live in our small boxes.
Microsoft will be at the top of it, and I know Sony has great games now. But how do they compete in this world when they don't have the technology stack in-house that would cost them a lot of money to do these things, and they can't afford, according to their CFO, to do this day and date stuff, right? The way I think they survive is going to be on the content, and even their high-quality content, they don't have enough of it. I think Sony should do whatever they got to do, beg, borrow, and steal, get EA, and if you add Sony's bangers and EA's service-based and sports games, I think they're a formidable competitor for that future. And that's how they stay
I can see that.
A power player. And even if their tech guys come in.
None of these
I'll
companies...
continue this conversation. John, give me just 1 minute. I'll continue. I'll let you'll have the next word. But let's add into the idea that while these companies are being bought, they're chomping at the bit, which is EA, they're talking what do you call it? Ubisoft is out there, that they're looking at it. I'll even say, you see this Amazon, Disney, Apple, Netflix doesn't have the resources to be on this list, but they're out there. They're trying to buy as well. And here we go. Embracer Group just bought, and they're talking about potential remakes, remasters. They're adding in potential, things to bring them to the main table, right? So, John, what do you think? What does this look like in like 5 years, where everybody's buying up everybody else? Is Devolver Digital the next, Insomniac, the independent studio? Go ahead, John.
I think that everyone is up for grabs right now, to be honest with you. Seeing some, going back to the other story that you have there, let me take a look at those potential buyers again. I mean, you got the mechas up there, man. These are mega conglomerates that have their footprint on a lot of things. Okay, they're just not focused on one avenue, one type of service or anything like that. These conglomerates, like for Disney, for example, their history with EA has shown them that EA, for the most part, they can make serviceable games. Okay, they created, they used the Star Wars license. We know that kind of blew up on their face with Battlefront, but then again, it was a serviceable game. It was of a certain quality, right? Probably that Disney thought was very good for their IP. So Disney has been lending out their IPs to different developers and different publishers and stuff like that. And maybe they thought refocused here. Maybe they said, let's bring it all
in-house. Yeah. Ooh. Oh, well, it looks like we're losing Mr. Wolf. Oh, we lost Mr. Wolf again. Oh no.
Oh, no.
Yeah, he has this USB problem that he's connected his thing to, so it keeps disconnecting him. But we'll get him back, I'm sure.
J-Mo Money in the chat is talking about what we've been saying. Like, if there was, if you want to fill out first of all, they need to start hitting a yearly AAA release
cadence. That's right. Yeah.
But if they ever do hit their goal of a quarterly AAA release, You buy Devolver Digital to fill out with high quality AA games.
Yes.
That is a force to be reckoned with right there.
Yep, for sure. Did you hear what Devolver did? I posted that on my Twitter feed. They can't help themselves. And welcome back, Mr. John.
Yeah,
Wolfe.
apologies about that, brother.
It's no issue.
I gotta work on that, man. That USB
it
is driving me crazy. So what I was gonna say is that maybe Disney's refocusing to bring them back in house to kind of work on these IPs. I can see why Disney would be very interested on that. Amazon, I mean, they with Twitch and everything, they've been really focused, man, on really creating something. And to Everborn's credit, right, with what he said here, all these companies are keeping a close eye because they know they don't want to be too late. Because that's the key here. You don't want to enter this arena too late and everything's going to pass you by, because by the time that you invest and make that investment, the opponent might be so far ahead,
5 steps ahead of you.
That's right. That that investment is going to take you forever to catch up to be able to match or exceed them, right? So do I think that more of this is coming? Okay, does this news surprise me? Not in the least. Do I think that Phil Spencer put out a word out there kind of giving foreshadowing kind of what Microsoft foresees? Yeah, I think he did do that. And Everborn is correct. He is one of the foxes. Of course, he'll gobble you up in a second, brother. All right. So if he can, you better believe he will. So I just think, to finish off my thought, I'll be very interested to see who eventually comes up with EA, because it's gonna happen. I mean, this right here is the beginnings of what I see being the story for many of these mega publishers. 100%.
So okay, that has been the long tail. Like, that's what we see, that because of all the back and forth that's happening right now, that's what we see happening in the next couple of years. But with the news that we have now, right, and this is a moment in time, right? There's already news and there's already reports and rumors that June will see shows for both Microsoft. Well, Microsoft has actually officially announced it. They're having a show in June, right? Even after they've announced their 2 delays, it is what it is, right? And there's also rumors that Sony will also be having a show in June, which would change this equation drastically, right? But in the here and now, what does console gaming look like for the rest of 2022? Yeah. Really, right? Because Sony kind of, besides Ragnarok, right? And Ragnarok has been looming for a while. I personally now I'm coming on to the idea that they will most likely release it this year, because they're still
11/11/22.
Oh boy, would
you just want to watch the world burn?
Don't you? Yes. It would be the heat. Like they just bring Microsoft to their knees and just like,
at this point, it is a missed I'm going to be disappointed if they don't.
They should. Don't, yeah. They should absolutely do it.
And J-Mo Money is asking, are we going to see Sonic Frontiers this year, Everborn?
Yes, we are. And you're talking about what we're doing for the rest of the year. You know what we're doing? Yeah. We're doing Shredder's Revenge, and we're doing Sonic Frontiers.
True. Yeah.
Right? Mm-hmm. You can talk to me about what no games this, no games that. And and then a lot of people are going to be playing Battlefield this year, right? They're going back to Modern Warfare. I am not, because in a matter of months it will be in Game Pass. So I don't like throwing away my money for no reason. But I will be playing COD for the first time in God knows how long. Right.
So let's take a close look at what we're looking at for the rest of the year, with the delays that we know are already existing and Ragnarok being a question mark, right? There's a lot of third parties, and for those who know, you'll still get your benefit from Game Pass. If you are a Game Pass subscriber, there'll still be a bunch of stuff. We've already described that Origins is coming. That game is worth at least days of gameplay right there. So that's not a problem.
What, right? Sonic Origins?
What else is coming?
Sonic Origins? You said Origins.
We were talking about Assassin's Creed Origins, good sir. Sonic is Frontiers. Sonic
Origins is coming out June 23rd.
He's got blue on his mind.
That one's also coming out. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, but I hold no stock in that one. I'm sorry. Frontiers, I want to see, but Origins, we shall see. I reserve judgment, because you know how they do. Two steps forward, 2 steps back.
I hope I'm Sonic Origins is a missed opportunity. They should have redid the sprites. to give it some, today kind of hand drawn stuff.
Yeah.
And I think they would have had a hit on their hands.
Absolutely.
But
so
I don't know if I'm going to
through
play
this
the same games over again if they're not
I think, Kay, that so obviously there's a lot of content coming out, a lot of games coming out for both console platform holders.
I want to buy the console.
Yeah,
hey, this is meant for us. This is awesome. Like hardcore. This is it. What are we looking at?
What's gonna move the needle, obviously, is Ragnarok. I mean, that's the big summer Hollywood
and Ragnarok.
blockbuster.
We know, just like we know that what do you call it? Microsoft is not having their two bangers, quote unquote, right? That's now in the ether. We don't know what else is coming. Presumably nothing else. We haven't gotten any other dates from them, right? So that's where we are with it, right? Ragnarok is 50-50, right? We also don't know that for sure. Yeah, folks were saying, oh, it's coming in 2022. It's said in the Twitter post. It's been there for months. It wasn't changed recently. That whole coming out in 2022 thing, that's been there for months. People just paid attention to it recently. Now, they did release an accessibility trailer for Ragnarok like a few days ago.
And there were
the idea being, that's right. The idea being, hey, if you're thinking you're going to delay it, why would you keep releasing new content? But hey, to those who say that, I say they kept releasing new content about Starfield right until they said in 2022.
That theory
that's neither here nor there, right? So for either platform, there's a lot of murky water.
Yeah.
What do you think, John?
But okay, so for PlayStation, right? I'm with Everborn. Listen, I'm from the old school, man. All right. So what do I mean by that? If they have an opportunity to jump over Microsoft and keep on with their foot on their necks and release on 11/11, you do it, brother. Do it. Yes. Of course, there's not personal.
Well, but you know what? Listen. You know what, John? The reason why that may not be what they do is because that sleeping giant is awake. And he wasn't awake before. You used to smack him in the face all the time, and he was just still sleeping. Now he's awake.
I understand that. Go
John,
ahead.
Listen.
Go ahead, Everborn.
They should do it, if only to teach Microsoft
a lesson.
No, you put a date out there. You hit that date. If
I wasn't
you
going
don't hit that date. You don't treat your woman right. Joe is going to be right there singing. Brother, I want to know.
I want to know.
You're not wrong. You're not wrong with what you're saying. But no, let's go a little bit above that, right?
But you do realize that CFO will be like, you know what you're doing, right? Yeah, they're gonna open that wallet, bro. What you doing? You better calm down. That zirconia you're buying her, it ain't gonna work it when he buys the diamonds.
Look, I'm just saying. Is there gonna be some type of gratification that I'm sure Jim Ryan and staff that are massaging his feet right now? Are they gonna have some type of satisfaction and gratification? Absolutely. But at the same time, right? It's one of those water cooler moments, brother. They have right now. It's falling on their lap. So it's kind of like one of those things that if that game can be ready for 11/11, I'm with Everborn. You gotta do it. You gotta. That's called a dagger.
Listen,
that's
even
a
if
dagger.
it's not ready, put it out. Put it out. That's it. Just do it.
Well,
just like they did with Forbidden West, that didn't work out too well for them.
I'll tell you guys, in my opinion, what the X factor is here. Okay, and we talked about this a little bit on Boom Show yesterday. That the X factor for me is Modern Warfare 2. What is going on with that game, and what do I mean by that? We talked about it a little bit on Boom Show yesterday with the marketing. Okay, the marketing right now is a little suspect in my opinion. Okay, why didn't Sony show it as part of one of their games that they have marketing?
That is an interesting deal.
That is
and to confirm, that has been confirmed that was an internal video that they were doing for their teams, and it's been confirmed that was definitely not there. Go ahead, everyone. What's your thoughts?
I have a thought. So, I said this right in January when the deal was announced, right, about the Sony marketing deal. If I'm Sony, I have to do some math and put some numbers together to do sort of a risk benefit analysis of, do I want to spend more money marketing this game that in a month or two everyone is going to be associated?
We're basically marketing the competitors' game. It's kind of like having God of War on Xbox for just one time.
It's a conversation. It's definitely a conversation they're having.
And I don't know the answer to that. I'm just saying, like you said, it's definitely something you have to think about when you say.
Shout out to Splendiferous. I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but shout out to Splendiferous for being here. First off, thank you, gentlemen, for being here. So many folks in the chat having a great conversation. Splendiferous points out, did y'all hear Colt Eastwood say that Xbox is about to make history on June 12th. Now, that could be taken in multiple ways, right?
Yeah,
it could be taken as in, hey, they're coming out to show you something amazing, or it could be, hey, for the first time, a first-party platform is gonna go a whole calendar year without releasing a single thing. That will make history, not necessarily the best way.
But right. So the point I'm making is, I know it's believed that Sony had that marketing for at least one more game or a few more years, but. I don't know. If I'm Sony, maybe I want to get out of that, right?
Yeah, maybe they have the deal, but they can choose to not use it because, hey, we're marketing somebody else's product right now anyway. Yep.
Yeah, and that's a thing to really think about. Maybe that's not why it's up there.
Now, what would be nice and petty of PlayStation is if they still do have that marketing deal and choose not to actually use it. Can that then forego Microsoft still from not marketing that thing? Meaning we have that marketing deal. It's in ink. We own it and you can't have it.
Yes.
And if we choose not to market it, neither can you.
That's what's so interesting about this.
Here's one more interesting tidbit. It's a co-marketing deal, which means Activision can market that game along with Sony. Now, if Activision is Microsoft
adjacent,
if Activision is Microsoft, they also have the right to advertise it. Indeed. So again, do you want that?
Look, to me, and the reason I pose that question is because it's a very simple one to me. If I'm Sony and I'm Microsoft, obviously I want to print Modern Warfare 2 on the box. That's what this is all about. You want to have...
you know their record. The minute they print Modern Warfare 2 on the box, that thing won't release on time. God damn it.
But the bottom line is that that's why, I mean, that look, when you're talking about the future for 2022, I think that June 12th is going to be so telling of the landscape of what we can really expect here, because does Microsoft have something hidden in the chamber? That's something right now that
I've been saying this, man.
They
announced their delays was too brash, too bold. They might be overly confident, but I think they got bullets in the chamber that will make you forget about the BS.
Or here we go.
Or Mr. Everborn Saga is correct.
Hold on.
And they are going to be fiduciarily in trouble later for purposely hiding things.
Go ahead.
So, the show is a grade A level, 6 level mid. You know why? Because they are purposely trying to lay low. They're purposely not being aggressive because what did Brad Smith say? The deal is moving fast. They don't want any hiccups, because if you did release Starfield and Redfall and you had all that momentum going in and you've obviously figured out something in the logistics to where you can ship more consoles than the competitor, we could get to a holiday season where potentially the Series
they're looking too good
because of the Series S could potentially overtake the PlayStation. And then you'd be the number one console. And if Starfield comes out, that drives subscriptions. Maybe you got 40, 50 million subscriptions by then. And while Lena Khan is looking at your deal, she says,
this is a callback. This is why Jez Corden and Randolph Thor 19 thought this man was smoking something botanic on yesterday's show.
I think Jez kind of agreed with me.
No, he didn't. He agreed with me that there'd be trouble for them if that ever came out.
Everborn, what you're saying? Go ahead.
So again, if you're trying to make the argument that you're not going to have undue influence on the market and you need to do this to compete, it's going to be hard to do that if you got 40 million subs and you're the number one console out there and you're doing all these things. So you piss off your audience. Everybody's talking bad about you, right? You put out a garbage show.
They didn't,
right? Hold on a minute. You put out a garbage show. You lose Game Pass subscriptions, and in the face of Sony launching their subscription service and all the people jumping on, and you say, look, we struggling out here.
We
need this to stay afloat.
So what you're saying is that you want Microsoft to go in limping with crutches into the courtroom.
He's literally saying, John. He's literally saying Microsoft should wear a neck brace and do that whole,
the accident.
And as soon as they're done, they're like, peace out. Yeah.
Hold on a minute. So. It is very curious
they're asking me to rein you in, everybody.
What's going down? It is very curious to me that they
Who
delayed
angered
both
Everborn
these
today
games.
is the question.
They delayed both these games to the first half of 2023. What is supposed to close in the first half of 2023?
Well, it's the way it's going right now. It might even close sooner. I mean, Brad Smith came out and he said it himself.
Hold on, gentlemen. Very important question, real quick, and you can continue conversation. J Mo Money asks, Everborn, did we actually land on the moon?
I'm sorry, for the stars, baby. Listen. All I'm saying is, once that deal closes, they lined up the release for those games for when they think the deal will closes. Right? I guarantee you, the day the deal closes, they will do a one more thing after their roundtable and say, "Here's our Starfield and Redfall date, and
it's
we
ready to
moved
go."
It up, right?
Okay.
We moved it up. And last thing. Hold on. Imagine all the crying and stuff that we're doing now. Imagine the 1-2 punch of hype of, hey, we closed the deal. COD is in Game Pass, so's Overwatch and Diablo and everything else.
Starfield.
And here's Starfield. So
and Redfield on the same day. The same day.
So again,
all I will say, let me close this out. There's
a reason they can't be
aggressive. If this is true, if Everborn is right, then I am Captain Keys.
Okay.
Thank you so much. This has been a great show. This has been an awesome show, and we're going to continue this conversation because if he is right, then I am Captain Keys. I'm just saying.
Look, Everborn. What you're putting on paper, brother, is conspiracy level to the maximum.
Hold on a minute.
But I will give you credit on this. Okay, I will say with everything you are saying, one of the things that kind of holds water that I agree with. These delays came out of nowhere, brother. So that's why I'm kind of very suspicious.
Check out, and I've thought the same thing. Check out what Jez said about this because that's where I fall. It's serendipitous that it happened. Does it work in their favor? 100%. On that, Everborn, we agree. But the idea that they're purposely tipping the scales either one way or another will have adverse consequences that they don't want. Even if it's found out, even if this adverse effect is found out 5 years down the line, that could cause them to come back to the table and go, hey, Microsoft, we heard what you did here, and we're going to undo what we did because of it. That is considered, no. That would really bring up some shade.
Nobody has to know, Kay. Nobody has to know.
Are we serious that a $2 trillion company can do this on the slide and it'll just never be known?
Hold on a minute. See, this is the problem. You guys are taking these things too literally. We all, listen, why did Microsoft allow Embracer Group to get to buy?
Yeah, we get you. It's important. We get it.
Hold on a minute. Why do we say?
He's basically threading that needle. Like, yes, we see that it was important for them to get that deal, and they still chose not to get the deal because ABK is that important. So if it's that important, then they can just dash the entire environment. They can build this new house that they're building and they love and they want you to love. They can throw feces everywhere just to show it looks like ish so that they can get the deal done. Again, and then they'll clean it up later.
Just hear me out. There's a reason why people say they're not going to buy anything while they're trying to close this deal. Is it illegal for them to buy something else? No. Anybody tell me? No. It's not illegal. Of course not. But they're not doing it. Why? They're not being aggressive. Why?
Because J-Mo Money, real quick, he does not have a swimming pool. He has a jacuzzi. So the Loch Ness monster is swimming in your jacuzzi.
They don't want to. I get where you're coming from, Everborn, right? So, and again, you're not crazy with your logic here. It's just the problem is that the idea that they would be willing to sabotage all the momentum and all the good grace that they have,
and that would cause adverse legal effects.
No,
it would cause adverse.
Listen,
if it's found out, it would cause adverse because you're purposely tipping on the scales. Like the FTC could come down hard on them if they did that.
No, you can't. There's no way to prove this, right? Listen.
Are you telling me that what? Okay, let's paint the picture. And this will be the last thing before we go here. You're painting the picture.
We need to get Hogue Law up here.
Yeah, seriously, we do because I can imagine what Phil Spencer goes, well, it'd be inappropriate if you say something. That's not good. But maybe the game you need about 6 more months of polish. The game is great. No.
All I'm saying is
about 6 more months of polish.
All I'm saying is the game has bugs. and we strongly urge you.
But Phil, we have worked so hard. Remember, we delayed it. It was supposed to come out in 2021. We delayed it to 2022. We are confident that this game has no bugs now. There's no Bugthesda.
Hold on.
And then he
Kate
goes, "No, you need 6 more months."
Hold on,
Is that the case?
Everborn, is that why you're saying that Todd Howard was the one that took this news the hardest, brother?
Because he didn't smile in that
look
picture.
At the picture. If you look, I zoomed in. I did a tweet about this. You look at that picture where they were everybody smiling in that picture except Todd Howard. Go back and look at it. You can look at this. I'm not making this stuff up.
That boy was pissed.
All I'm saying is it looked like somebody told him your game's not coming out and not the other way around. Right?
See what you did, Everborn. See what you did. Look what J Mo Money says. This podcast can be summed up by one movie. Harry and the Hendersons. Come on now. Look what you did, man.
Look, all I'm saying is
turned us into the tinfoil hat podcast.
You got to see what's right in front of your eyes, man. Just look at it. It's right there for you. But like I said, you will all know that I'm right. If the show is mid, and if as soon as the Activision deal is done, you get a date for Starfield. If those two things happen,
then we know you're right.
I want y'all to come back to me and apologize.
Then Negro Damas will be in full effect. I will give you that.
I'll come back on the show and I'll take a knee, brother. I'll take a knee King David style for sure.
And we'll know he's wrong if this June show, they literally throw the freaking kitchen sink at you. Oh, yeah, we killed your AAA dreams. True, for now. But look at this. Look at that. Look at this. Look at that. Oh, my God, we're throwing everything at you just to make you happy because we delayed your AAA dreams. If they do that, then you're wrong.
Everborn, are you confirming right now to everybody that you're starting your own podcast, Backroom Deals with Everborn?
Listen, man. No, we're good. We're gonna do it, and we're gonna review these photographs. It's like the Zaputa tapes. That's what I said on.
And Victor Alistine, to your point, his theory is solid, but see that whole no one will ever know. Even the U.S. government secrets come out. You think the company that keeps falling flat on their faces, and I'll give you one example, okay? Even besides all of this, right? How much money, how much marketing dollars have they wasted on Doritos boxes, on console boxes, promoting games that don't release on time? How much they probably have a AAA budget game's worth of wasted dollars in that remark. Okay. They are incapable of playing this 4D chess, is what I'm assuming. And the second part about the matter is, if they are able to play this 4D chess, we've already established the ground that PlayStation has no insiders because there's no leaking, just none. Whereas Xbox has a freaking Niagara Falls of insiders. You're telling me this underhanded sabotagey deal thing would go quiet into the night and no one would ever hear about it? That's insane.
But
they would get in trouble eventually.
He's not wrong though that it
works for them. It works for them. He's not wrong about that.
In the real world, these sort of things do happen. So I do give him credit for that. So
I won't deny that. If he said that that's what Sony was doing, I would be okay. I could believe that, because Sony has secret deals where they say, hey, since you're in Game Pass, now you owe us certain monies, and they don't want anyone to hear about that, right? That is true.
All this is strategic roadmap management. There's a reason.
Yeah, but you're adding a nefariousness into that piece of the puzzle.
That's only because you're characterizing it that way. You're editorializing, sir. All I am saying is there's nobody that can tell you can't put a thing out on a date because it strategically benefits what you're trying to do. You're
devoiding the context there. After you've already announced it, after you've promoted it, after you've basically gotten subscriber numbers getting that there.
They did the same thing with Halo.
Well, but Halo was a genuine, everyone genuinely said, hey, delay that thing. It looked like trash.
But everybody also said, why would you even show this to us? So that's the excuse. Look, we didn't show it to you. You told us we
Victor Alistine's there with you, though. He's with you. He's saying Phil can just say polish his game. Like I was saying, what do you call it? Bethesda goes to them and goes, look, God Howard has made it. This is it. This is the dream of all dreams. This is an amazing game. And then Phil goes, we don't want that Bethesda. He goes, look, we were supposed to have this in 2021. We're in 2022, baby. It's polished. We've been playing it for a year. Phil Spencer goes, You need another 6 months, my friend.
Todd Howard is sitting. Todd Howard is sitting in the palace. He's just sitting up there, and they brought this news across his table, and he's just like, I don't understand, but we're ready to go on 11/11, and this is above your pay grade, son. Don't worry about it.
No, but all of those words, are all of those.
Yeah, those words should not be spoken because those words might be recorded. So it's like, I've spoken with Brad Smith. Yeah, he played the game too. He says you need 6 months. What? No, Brad has nothing to do with this. Look, you need 6 months.
Hey, Todd, you're taking the dive. You're taking the dive, Todd.
You got to take one for the team. Polish the game some more. It's for your own good.
Right? Yeah, exactly. You see, but why? You played it yesterday. You said it was great.
Any questions? You can talk to the guys in that back alley over there, right? You guys aren't listening. All right. But last thing. How do we fix the show in light of the glaring omissions, which are?
Well, like I said, I've already told you. I know. Like people have been. There's been like what do you call it? Civil war within the communities on Twitter. People losing their minds. It's over. Like even people who people have been on the show. People who we like have been losing their ever loving minds about ridiculousness that I personally think is not warranted. Right? To me, wait till June. All of the consternation, all the criticism, because in June, you will see them throw the damn kitchen sink at you because they know they effed up. They know it. They know that for calendar year 2022, they don't have something to look forward to. So I believe if they're doing their job correctly, and I'm talking about your Sarah Bonds, I'm talking about your Phil Spencers, I'm talking about your Matt Booties, all of them, the Booties, pause, they will come out and throw it all on the field because they don't want those subscriber numbers to go down. That is my estimation. Now, after June, if there is still no I won't say AAA. If there's still no first party platform release from Microsoft, from Xbox for the calendar year 2022, then I say let the slander continue. Let the slander continue because then they deserve all the hay that's being made. I honestly think the reason why they didn't wait until June, because they could have easily waited until June. I've said this. They could have waited until June, blown your wig back with all the whiz-bang Starfield moves, and then went, you see how great this game looks? See how ambitious we're trying to be? We're sorry, but we're going to have to delay this to 2023 to reach the full potential. And at that time, because everybody's wig is already blown back with all the potentials, they'll go, oh, yeah, I see it now. No, instead, they chose to rip the Band-Aid off real quick because they think that the bullets in their gun are far outweighing what's going on with this sad news now. That's what I think. The thing is,
you're going to go after that show on whatever the final note is. If you want to go out on a high, you get the bad stuff out of the way first, and then you go on the high.
Exactly. Right? So they got stuff for you that will overshadow what they're talking about today.
So to me, some things that I think will go a long way to win back the fans is solve some of your Japanese issues, right?
Which might be. So what if we come to June and they're going, oh, guess what? Persona, bam. Oh, guess what? The whole collection, Final Fantasy Remake, all the stuff that you wanted,
Sonic Frontiers and Game Pass,
all the stuff that you couldn't have. Guess what? Guess what? Your video capture features of Xbox, they work perfectly now. Bam! Like they're gonna give everything to you to try and make up for this.
You want the mic drop? You want the mic drop? Street Fighter 6 is coming to Xbox.
I was actually gonna say Ubisoft Plus comes to Game Pass day one with all Ubisoft games, and they can handle the subsidizing.
We all have our personal, things that will make us say, hey, you know what? I thought it was a solid show, and we're happy with what they showed here and what they possibly announced or are going to release this year or whatever. But I think we can all agree on one thing that we need to see unanimously. This is across the board, and that's consistency. We need to see that. What on it, brother? That word consistency is huge, right? And it's been huge in everybody's mind. And
that is the final nail in their coffin that they have not been able to successfully continue on. Yes.
But what does that word really mean? I think it has multiple things. Okay, for different people. For me, what I want to see is all the investments that you have made with the Bethesda purchase, now the Activision purchase, and within your own studios, okay, that you purchased in 2018. We need to see progress. We need to see what is coming. We need to see solid gameplay. that I think is what's going to ease everybody's mind, because the one thing that the PlayStation gamer has peace of mind in it with is that they know great content is coming. They know these games are going to deliver. And that's the thing that I think that the Xbox gamer just wants to be at ease at. Show us what you guys are cooking. We want to see what's in the kitchen. We want to know that we're going to be eating good for a very long time. And right now, all they did was put the menu in front of you. We actually want to start seeing samples of the food that you guys are cooking at. And I think that
100%.
that's really what's going to put everyone at ease and be like, you know what? Good stuff is coming. And what they showed off was incredible. We need to see the progress. That's my opinion.
And you know what? Let me close out this show by saying one last thing. One last thing, and we'll close out this show. What I will say is, at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, whether this year is a wash or not, by the very nature of the math, there will be a point where they will have no choice but to keep releasing stuff, because even before the Activision Blizzard deal, they have 30 plus teams. They have 20 some odd studios, 30 plus teams, right? And each team presumably making different content. It can't go to 2024, 2025, 2020, like without ever. There will come a time where there'll be no choice but to continuously release. It's just they need to have people in place at a high level from a management perspective that shows all those puzzle pieces and goes, okay, this goes here, this goes there. If plan A doesn't happen, which is the Redfall and the Starfield release dates, here's plan B to offset that. It may not be exactly the same level of import, but at least it'll show our consumers we're still out there, we're still working for them, we're still making sure that their subscription continues to have value. That's what people are looking for, right? People are looking for, hey, I bought into this thing. Does it continue to have value even if your AAA promised games aren't releasing this year? And I honestly think it could go either way, but June will tell you. And if June comes and goes and they don't have anything for you for calendar 2022, I shut my mouth and I will let the smoke continue to rain. But until then, people who are losing their minds and going all console war, y'all need to calm down, because you don't know the whole picture. All you know is half of it, right? As Everborn has said, let's get the negative news out the way. We'll hit you with the positive stuff later. Wait until they show you what they consider positive. After that, you can make up your mind. But right now, all you have is half of the news. And because of that, all the console warring and all the World War III that's happening on the internet, it's not a good look, especially for content creators and people who should be above that fray. We should be smart thinkers and debaters and this and that. We can disagree. Doesn't mean we get all up in arms and start swearing at each other and all that stuff that's happening on the internet. I find it absolutely egregious and unacceptable, because chances are y'all gonna be all right for 2022. Chances are it's just gonna be all right. And if you're not, so what? It's just games we're talking about here.
But listen, like,
go ahead. I'll let you have the last word. Go ahead.
Right? No matter what game they put out this year, Elden Ring was going to be game of the year.
True.
Right?
True.
This holiday, if you think you have nothing to play, I think that is because you have succumbed to the sort of console warrior talking point that only these first party games matter.
Yep.
The fact is, what people are going to be playing this holiday, if you're talking to me, I'm playing Sonic Frontiers. Talking to somebody else, they're playing Modern Warfare, whatever the new one is. Or you're talking to somebody else, they're playing Hogwarts Legacy or Gotham Knights. That sounds like a lot of games to me. Right? Yep. You will have things to play, and the things are delayed a few months for strategic reasons.
Believe it or not,
don't get it wrong. But
believe it or not, I'm actually looking forward to I'm looking forward to Saints Row. It looks quite interesting. It didn't look great at first, but the latest showing, I kind of like it. It's more of the same, but I'm now in a predisposition to like it. It's more polished GTA with craziness, right? All that is available. It is
Diablo Immortal. Available. Shout out to Diablo Immortal.
There you go.
On mobile.
There you go. So we have had an awesome conversation, and our chat just keeps getting more, and the viewership, it just keeps growing higher and higher. Usually towards the end of the show, folks start dropping off. No, the numbers are even hitting higher. So I say thank you guys so much for being in here. Thank you so much. Please consider hitting that subscribe button. Consider hitting that like button before you step away. we're marching towards that 1,000 subscribers, and I know a bunch of the community members have been so good on Twitter trying to promote us and get us there. We appreciate you all so much for all the conversation. If you're a PlayStation fan, you're an Xbox fan, we're gamers here. We play it all. We all have these consoles.
Unless you're a PC fan, then we don't really want you.
and I will represent the PC fans wonderfully because we out here. And I was saying this to John Wolfe real quick. Between the free games that Amazon / Twitch has been giving away, the free games that Epic Games has been giving away, the humble bundles that come out and they say, hey, pay $10 and you get like 300, 400 games. Yeah, I have about 450 games in my library.
You're eating good.
I paid maybe the equivalent of maybe $60 for all of them because they're just available to you out there like that. And that's why I'm always advocating for people joining that PC ecosystem, because you ain't got to pay that much to be in there, right? You get free stuff while they make console people pay that $70 or whatever. So, it may be hard to get in. It may be, a little bit more technical and this and that. But at the end of the day, you save a bunch of money being part of that ecosystem. So I will always advocate for that. But you know what? We've had an awesome conversation. This is one of my favorite shows we've done so far. There's been so much back and forth. I really enjoyed it. John Wolfe, I appreciate you being here, good sir. It has been like so great having you here. Ever since you jumped on the scene, I have been a big fan of your work. I see you on all these shows. I see you doing great work on your own show. Tell the fine people where they can find you this week. Please subscribe to this man. If you're not subscribed to his channel, when this goes up and it posts, I will make sure all of his information will be in those show notes so that you can go ahead and subscribe and support this man like he supports the rest of the community. Go ahead, folks. John, tell them where they can find you, Twitter, PlayStation, everywhere you want to be found, please.
Absolutely, brother. Yeah, I think that you're gonna link it down below, right? My my Twitter 100%. Handle. You could find me. I have all my links up there, man. So you can subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. Kay, I appreciate you and Everborn for letting me appear on this episode. It's been a lot of fun. I hope you guys have a nice weekend. Stay safe. Get anything you guys got to get done and get some gaming in, people. Let's get some gaming in. Let's get away from the computer and from Twitter for a little bit.
Playing games. I'm always playing games
sure.
now.
And let's actually play these things, man, and enjoy them. So thank you all so much. Have a great weekend, and until the next one.
Indeed. Mr. Everborn Saga, tell me that monkey will get off your back at some point and you will try something else besides Elden Ring this year. Are you actually going to try Forbidden West at some point? Because they've had some patches.
No, 1,000%. But I have to beat Zero Dawn, and it feels like such a chore to get through that because
honestly, forgo for Zero Dawn.
No, because you told me that I had to go to Zero Dawn first.
You kind of did to make the story really work, but if you don't like it,
listen, I gotta say something right now. It's gonna rub some people the wrong way. #Aloy is boring, dude. She is boring as a character. All right, I'm sorry. I have to say that.
Okay,
I can't stay quiet.
He waited to the end to get all the PlayStation people angry at him. Okay,
he called Horizon a tech demo.
Oh boy.
So all I'm saying is, yes, it's absolutely 100% on my list of things to do. As is Sifu and finishing Kena Bridge of Spirits, right? So I got
real quick. What do you think of Victor Alistein's question here? Statement here. He says we need a forum. I'm not a huge fan of Discord.
Well, what we could do is create a Facebook group. Not a Facebook.
Log back into my Facebook.
No. I didn't mean to say Facebook, although that's not a terrible idea. But why don't we create a Discord?
That's what I'm thinking. Maybe a Discord, maybe a Twitter community.
I think we can do both. I think we can do a Discord and a Twitter community.
Okay.
And we
I
can
always
maybe
appreciate you, Victor Alistein, for your points. Thank you, sir.
Maybe we set up some game nights.
Maybe we game with the community. Yeah, that's right. Go get Discord. Okay, we'll look into that. We appreciate all this feedback. We want to grow the community. We want to be where you want us to be. So if you're going to be in the Discord, or you want us to create a forum, or we want to do community,
that's where you'll get the grade A slander and conspiracy theories. That's too hot.
Nobody's listening.
It's too hot for TV. Yes,
hot for TV stuff. Yes. But no, we'll look into that for sure. But please, everbornsaga.com. tell folks where they can continue up with your work.
You can find me at Everborn Saga every place, but go to everborn.saga.com. Check out the books. Check out the intro animation we did for the pilot series we want to put together, and check out some clips for one of the games we have in development. A lot of things going on. Everbornsaga.com and Everborn Saga on PlayStation, Xbox, Steam, Twitter, all that jazz. So that's true. Big Bad Mo said I'm not playing with nobody. That's very true. I don't like people. I don't play.
We'll work on him, man. We'll work on it. You know, when the community comes together and we're all there, you know, maybe we're on Spaces at the same time, because you got to entice him with Spaces.
I'm a single player, one and done kind of gamer.
Yeah, he's a bot master. It is what it is.
You can go check my achievements. They're really in multiplayer.
It is. And every time I say that, I remember the song Bot Master. Bot Master.
Look, anyway. Everborn, if you jump on Halo Infinite, you know, with the community and with us, the good thing is that we could push you a little bit forward. You'll take all the shots, and then we could pick off the.
No, listen, I will come to Halo Infinite when they do raids. They got to integrate raids, maybe in season 3.
Okay. We'll hold you to it, because you know the internet never forgets. But yes, sir, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a wonderful show. We appreciate all you fine folks who've stuck with us, who are in the chat, still being slanderous. We enjoy all of the conversation and all of the comments. This will post up.
Comment?
I definitely did see Dewey's comment. This will post up on your favorite audio podcast listening services on Monday or Tuesday. All the show notes all down there on the Twitter, on the YouTube. Once this goes up, you'll be able to find Mr. John Wolf's information. I hope you do that, because the man is out there doing great work, and he definitely deserves the support you guys give us. So we definitely appreciate that. But we will be done for this week, and we will come back next week, hopefully with another crazy episode with wonderful guests. And until then, we say we hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will see y'all in those Twitter streets and continue the gaming. Have a good one.